Yeah, to co-host the show, to just come in, hang out with us. It was, like this week we had in Tarantino, and we'd always look for a day like that. We have somebody even from last year that we're like looking for a day to make special for them. And I always think that's what makes it fun. And then if we have that kind of guest, somebody that you're interested in, you get to sit in on the interview.
Exactly. You know? We always have so much fun with it. So we have just 2 hours.
2 hours left.
Get there.
I feel like putting in a bid myself.
Okay.
You don't need to.
Yeah, but this way I could speak twice as much. By the way, I haven't gotten over it was so much fun having Tarantino in that I went and watched this documentary called G8 about his first 8 films. And they go back and they get, Sam Jackson and Mr. Orange. And I forgot the person out of everything with Tarantino I'm in love with is that little Australian stunt woman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You can see he's head over heels with her, too. He's enamored with her.
She is so fucking crazy. I never saw anything like her in my life.
Yeah.
When everybody puts down Death Proof, they don't like that movie.
And
I was standing up watching that. I was fucking petrified like it was happening live.
And she, I believe, is all of the bride stunts. Like, she is basically...
that's how they met up, doing that kind of stuff. Yeah. And it's a couple people wrote to us and said, "Did you tell him that you didn't like his movie, the last movie?" And what I really said is, I'm still totally weirded out that he would change that thing, and I don't get the point of it. Now, I said something to him in the hall, and he said it was an alternate universe. It wasn't this universe that we were in.
Right.
Which is weird, but it makes more sense. Now, let me say this. So, for me, that was like a total fucking freak out. But I don't know if you know this new Clint Eastwood movie, Richard Jewell, right?
Yeah.
And everyone always acts like, well, it's a movie. It doesn't have to be true. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to make something a movie, not a documentary. But there's a woman who's already passed away. She was writing for the Atlanta newspaper, the Constitution or whatever. And they claimed that she fucked a member of the FBI to get the name of who they were looking at. And that's how Richard Jewell first ended up in the newspapers. And supposedly there's nothing even close to happen to that.
That's so shitty. That's so shitty.
She was doing, but this happens in any fucking movie.
But I don't like it because then what ends up happening is then that's usually people's only historical reference to that thing, and then they'll go, yeah, that was the woman who had sex with the FBI agent to get the story. No, that never really happened.
But isn't it true, like, if you look at Zuckerberg, that you think to yourself, oh, he's a misogynist because that's the story that we were sold.
Yeah.
And he...
Yeah. Well, I mean...
He only wanted a girlfriend.
Right.
But the truth was, he had a girlfriend. Who didn't end up in the movie. And he married that girlfriend. He wasn't a pussy hound. You've taken away the whole thing of that Facebook movie.
What was the Ben Affleck one that was...
Argo.
That one was like such bullshit because I didn't know anything about the story, so I just was going, this is what happened, I guess. I assumed that that's what happened.
They very easily got through airport security in real life, and then in the movie, there's a chase down the runway with people on a Jeep and a missile launcher.
But then
they also took out the fact that it was Canada that was doing all this stuff, not the United States. And there was no, we called and checked on this fake movie. It was all fucking crazy talk.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was made up. I mean, if you just added a bit of a car chase or something, you would go, okay, maybe they had to beef it up. But, like, it was just fabricated.
Yeah.
It wasn't even those people who...
So make it a fictional movie. Just say this was based on a movie where you used all different people's names. Would that be so fucking terrible? I mean, the shit that they do is the same stuff that they ruined the guy's life who did Million Little Pieces, right?
Yeah.
Right.
They acted like, you fucking liar. And yet, they're not going to get mad at this other stuff. They act like, hey, man, it's a movie. It's a fucking movie, dude.
Yeah, but you're using the names of real people. You're using real events.
And I think why, none of this stuff about the Hitler, shooting up Hitler is We all know what happened with Hitler.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But at least the fact that you don't watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and go, that's the way it went down. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. But I think it's so shitty to the memory of this reporter
And her
who,
family and the
yeah.
newspaper. The newspaper doesn't send out people to fuck.
Right.
Everybody hates fucking. Look, this is always fucking funny. Like today, everyone is furious with Time magazine, right? For giving that person of the year to the little girl.
Greta
Right?
Thunberg, yeah.
And then they're going, what about the fucking Hong Kong protesters? Why don't you do something to fucking help the Hong Kong?
Right.
Why don't you make up your own fucking person of the year? Why do we still? No one even fucking reads Time magazine,
Right.
and they still flip out every year about Time's person of the year.
I mean, don't forget, one of the years it was you. So
One year
you're
it was
taking it too serious.
Yeah, one year it was the computer. It's just dumb. I'm sick as a dog.
I know. Do we have any emergency?
No, we already did some of that. It's too late. If you got to get to that stuff before you get
Yeah,
sick.
but I feel like if you pump yourself with vitamin C, you're
just not true.
shortening the cold.
No, I checked. I called my doctor. He goes, "There's nothing I can do to help you." He goes, "You're as good as fucking having a cold right now."
I will say though that sometimes those things, if you believe that they make you feel good, then it does. But if you're not buying into it, it just doesn't work. I know somebody who was like, "Airborne is the way. I don't get sick because of airborne." And he read an article that was just proving that airborne doesn't keep you healthy, and he got sick as he was reading the article. Like
That
it was
makes
just like
sense.
the reality just crumbled for him.
But I was with Anthony Cumia the other day. He sounds 10 times worse than me. And he went to the doctor, had his lungs done, and the doctor's like, "You got a really bad cold."
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
like, "What can I do?" You know, the doctor's like, a cold. You get colds.
Yeah.
Now I'm working on some DNA strands to not only, and anybody who watched 60 Minutes the other night understands what we're doing. But not only get rid of the common cold, but all disease
Wow.
as it's known today.
That would be
It's
great.
simply a matter of dealing with the DNA.
You pull that off, you're going to find yourself Time Person of 2020.
Can I tell you something? That's not why I do things. You know, I do it for the money and the power that I'll be able to control who gets sick and when, and I'll be able to threaten other fucking countries. I can get everybody sick, or I can make everybody well.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much I want?
How much?
$60,000.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really? Should
Yeah,
have said
sure.
70,000 then.
There was a thing where on Bernie Sanders, I think on his Twitter or Instagram or something, he was sharing these interviews, like man on the street interviews with English people, and they were asking them the price of things, like what do you think the price of an inhaler is in the U.S.? What do you think the price of an EpiPen is? And they were just like appalled. They're like, "Oh, so if you're poor, you die then." Oh, okay.
No, there was
Yep. That's how we do it here.
there's a video up on the iBank today of Italian people eating Italian food from in America. I try to remember what fucking company it is,
Trader Joe's.
and they despise it.
Oh yeah,
They're
I can't.
fucking
That
freak-
sounds really.
First of all,
embarrassing.
they are so freaked out by pasta, our version of pasta, and I'm like, I don't know. Do we ever complain about the way a pasta tastes? Like, not even the sauce,
Yeah.
but look, there it is, right there. They're so freaked out by it.
yeah,
I could eat a cold pasta from almost anywhere.
they feel like our pasta's pretty flavorless, right?
Yes,
And also,
but
they don't
filling.
like how we just overcook it to shit. It's just totally limp. Then they like a nice bite to it, al dente.
I'm not crazy about that.
Yeah, I know. Most Americans like their pasta soft.
This is true of Italians, though. Vito, take this in. Italians laugh at and mock Italian Americans. We
do.
in America, we idolize the Italian Americans. You know what I
Right.
mean? We
We like
like the
their
way
food.
they make pizza. We like the way they make spaghetti. We copy it.
Hmm.
The Italians come here, and their biggest problem is not Americans, it's Italian Americans.
Yes.
Now, Vito, does that Have you ever met any Italians from Italy?
Yeah, anytime I meet an Italian from Italy, they hear my name, they hear Vito Calisi, and they're excited. And then when I start to speak, they're disgusted by me.
Right. Well, we go to Montreal all the time. They love Montreal pop music in France, right? But they look at them like they're fucking hillbillies. So they're like us, like we like country and western, but then we're like, oh, look at the way they live. And I'm going back to the early days, not now. But I'm like, we liked that shit, but then we're like, you're a fucking hillbilly, dude.
Right.
You know, I don't mind when you're playing the banjo and dancing around, but no.
When I went to Italy, I would say, like, I'd be in conversations about, like, my mom's side of the family is Italian, and, like, a couple generations back they were in Italy. And if I would say anything that they would say or repeat any songs that, like, my grandmother would sing to me, they're like, I don't know what you're saying. That's some sort of a baby talk. It's like you sound kind of like a dumb baby, the things you're saying. Oh, that makes sense. Probably mostly baby talk.
Yeah, really.
A lot of people are worried about my sickness right now. Some thinking Chris caused it. Some thinking Anthony caused it.
Hey, Jackie in New Jersey.
Ron, I got to say, you don't sound like $1 million today.
I know. I know.
It's true.
But just so you guys know, Time wanted to give Man of the Year to Steve Jobs back in the early 80s, but then they did some research into his background. They found out he had the illegitimate daughter. That's why they gave it to the computer, so that way they can still use all their material, all of their research.
I never heard this before.
I didn't realize.
Yeah. You know what? This is why I'm glad that Charity Buzz is getting me a co-host that I can live with. Pretty good prize closet.
Yeah.
How's that sound? A pretty good prize. Pretty good prize closet.
Got good prizes.
Now, Earl said to me, I'll check on this for you, something for the Charity Buzz thing, and then I never saw him again.
Oh, no.
Now, my big fucking problem that I'm going through with people is they agree to what I say, and then they never come back to me.
Where did you go, Earl? Why did you not return?
I went to check on the the information.
Yeah, and then you've never returned.
Unfortunately, the show had just started, and I didn't want to.
Hand me a piece of paper written down that maybe I could use for the show.
Yes, I'm still getting some of that information, so I want to be accurate. I don't want to give out misinformation.
All right. Take as long as you need. Right now, it's 25 minutes. Don't understand it. And now, Vito, I'm going to ask you, you've been sitting back there since the show started with him, right?
Yes.
Has he been working on that project?
No, he's been on the phones.
All right. So could you tell him that you just ratted him out, that he hasn't even been working, that he had forgotten or...
Earl, I just ratted you out, and I told him the truth.
Not true.
It's true that I just... You've just been on the phones, Earl.
I'm on the screen I'm on it right as we're speaking.
I think now he's claiming the current is the past.
Wow, that's mind fuck.
Yeah.
What you just gave me, Vito,
That's
it's a mind fuck.
He has a way about him
Yeah.
that actually kind of makes sense.
You know what I said to Tarantino? I go, man, how have you been able to pull off these 9 films? He goes like this. I have a staff that I believe in. He goes, I could never do it alone. And people agree to me that it looked like fucking Chris and I were just superimposed into that picture. We don't look like we're part of
No
that
one
at
said
all.
that about me. They definitely thought that I was standing next
No,
to Glenn.
you two were together.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I got jealous and I just said, put in a picture of me and Chris next to you.
It is a great picture.
For you, of you guys. Me and Chris look fucking ridiculous. Chris is not even fitting in the fucking shot.
I look like a cardboard cutout.
You actually pointed out how cuddled up Chris is to you.
Yeah.
I mean, he really snuggled in.
I could see if he would have snuggled into the guest. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he sees me every day. And he never
I've never
does that.
seen you snuggle in like
No.
this normally. Oh my God. Ryan in Alberta.
Hi. You guys were talking about how France looks down on Quebec like they're a bunch of rednecks.
Yeah.
That's not actually why France looks down on Quebec like that. They look down on them because Quebec is a welfare state. That's why they're looked down upon.
That's what we said, rednecks.
No, redneck is not welfare state.
Yes, it is. That's what we. That's what we mean when we say redneck in this country.
Yeah.
We say, look, we had to go to this fucking state and put electricity in for them and build their dams, and you know what I mean. They just take.
Right.
They just fucking
They're
take.
takers.
Yeah. And then in the meantime, we can't even get them to take the washing machine out of their front lawn. You know, there's 2 bad trucks out there and a couple of washing machines.
You're never gonna fix it.
Right.
Get rid of it.
So, yeah, when people say redneck in this country, it basically means they're not taking care of themselves.
Right. Exactly.
And I guess you could say that about Quebec. I don't know. I go to Montreal. It looks like a rich city.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
But I really don't know the rest of Quebec that well.
Yeah, that's pretty much my entire relationship with Canada.
I drove across Quebec heading back towards Buffalo this time, and it's the first time I had done that since I was a kid. And I remember when we went fishing when I was a kid, we went so far up in Quebec that there was no English being spoke, no English signs, anything. And my mom was making my dad turn the fucking car. She goes, I can't stand this.
This is
She
too
goes,
much.
these fucking frogs are going to kill us.
I want to see more of Canada. My only
It's the
relationship.
most beautiful place.
I would like for this show, one summer, Festival Express, and we go across Canada in a train.
Dude, pitch it. I'm in.
I think it would be so fun.
We go across Canada in a train, and then we fly back.
Yep.
Now, we got to be able to, can we get the Wi-Fi to be able to do the show every day?
We should. Yes, we could, I think there's satellite internet. that they can
Okay.
use.
And then let me say this. Can we get 9 or 10 great fucking bands to go with us so that when we stop
Please.
and
That's where we're gonna have to work.
Hold
we need
on.
a Janis Joplin type. We need a
we could do this with comedians.
yes. The
We could do it.
Friendstival Express.
Yeah,
All of
and
our
it's friends trivia.
This is gonna be so fun.
If we do Friendstable, definitely going to be Rachel. Who do you think is our Ross? I'm going to think that it's Earl.
Yeah, he's definitely our Ross for sure.
I could be Monica and Chris could be Fat Monica.
It just makes sense, I guess.
That's so fucking mean, and you're accepting being his bitch boy now.
I ain't his bitch boy, Ron. I just know that
You're
I
a
have weight
bitch
problem.
boy. You've gone too far. No, I don't blame you, man. You found out where the alpha dog is now.
Woof,
Now there's
woof.
a guy every time that you do your show, your little fucking weekend pick thing. I think it's called Humpty Town. Is that it?
It's a
Lockdown.
lockdown.
Okay. He writes Skip Arm Day. He writes it every fucking week. He acts like your arms are too small.
I'd like to see him have a fucking curling contest with me and see who can lift more weight because this is probably some beta punk who doesn't even have his photo in his Twitter profile.
That's a good point. I mean, a lot of those people, like, they don't even have a photo. That you
No,
can make
they have
fun
like a
of.
fucking
I wanna know
dog.
these things, what they're offering, what they're, you know what I mean? I want details. But it isn't how much you can lift, it's how you look. I mean, this thing is a body shaping contest. Not, I mean, if it was lifting, hey, we'd be pushing Hard Rock Johnny.
Look, I'm still filling out the skin bags, but trust me, there's a quality amount of bicep under there.
The other day that I was watching the Giants game, because right away Johnny's like, Giants are going to lose by 20 to the Eagles. And I'm like, I'll take that bet. I'll do a lunch bet with you.
Mm-hmm.
I never heard another word out of him. Because he's just so anti. And I'm pulling for the Eagles for whatever reason. I mean, I hate it because they're going to go to the playoffs and stink anyway. But seeing Eli doing that good in the first half, I'm like, this is historical. You know what I mean? This could be Eli's last game.
Right.
This is that scene in the movie where no one believes him and he comes back and he plays. The first half, he was unbelievable. And then the second half, he was quite believable. And it was sad because I
That is
thought,
sad.
I was saying to myself, this could be that sports moment of the decade because we're wrapping up, right?
I know.
And we don't have a lot of. I mean, I could go back to the last decade and pick the exact, what I would think, perfect sports moment of the entire decade that would wrap it up for everyone. I don't know if I could do that this decade.
Yeah, that's It's a good point. I mean, I feel like there were some pretty big stories of the last decade, but what is the actual definitive like?
Sports moment.
Yeah.
That fucking thing that we all were like, I was watching that. I was free.
Yeah.
Me and my
Yeah.
dad was screaming. I called my friend why it was happening. I don't know how many of those moments, like, did beast mode happen this decade where he ran that fucking 80 yards and never really got in an open
It
field?
might have been the. I'm going to check, but I think it might have been 2010. Yeah, the Beastquake was the.
When everyone was saying beast mode, the best ever.
Yeah, that was this year. Yeah,
That was this year.
I mean that was this decade. Excuse me.
What year was it?
That was 2014.
Okay, so you're off by 4
No,
years.
2010. Excuse me, 2010. so
Oh
that was
my
the beginning of
God!
this.
I could put you in the other room with Earl right now. Both of you lying. So there should be video of it, and then we look at it. We could say this is the kind of moment.
Right.
Now the thing is, though, this wasn't in the Super Bowl. It wasn't. I think
Right.
it was a playoff moment, wasn't it?
Yes.
Now watch this, Gail.
Crowd silent now, as opposed to when the Saints have the ball. Oh, look at this run! What a run!
I mean, everybody gets a shot at him, and he keeps going.
Oh my god.
Has blockers now.
Beast
He's
mode.
dancing his way for the
And then
touchdown.
he jumps back and grabs his dick. Now, here's the thing why they call it the Beastquake. They say it registered on the Richter scale. You know what I mean? No, I'm not even making that up.
Yeah.
No, you're
It
kidding.
literally, the stadium was going so crazy that it literally shook the earth.
You're kidding.
No,
me.
that's
Yeah.
why they call it the Beastquake. First of all,
Holy
this is a very
shit.
loud, crazy stadium.
Right.
Anyway, Seattle's at least one or two of the loudest with Kansas City. But this thing, people were jumping up and down so much that was shaking.
Dude, that's absolutely crazy.
Which, by the way, I don't like that. I don't like to be in a building that's shaking.
No, that's.
Right.
that's
We had
terrifying.
that at that Lady Gaga show where
Oh yeah, you
We
could
were
feel the seats
Yeah.
beneath
upstairs,
you,
yeah, and you're like,
Totally.
this is gonna come down.
or any like moment with bass, and then everyone's screaming, and then you're like, this is vibrating a lot. This whole
Right.
place is going. 844 Rocka to jump in on what is the greatest sports moment of this decade. Brad in Chicago.
How about the Cubs winning the World Series?
Well, the Cubs winning the World Series, you could even say that's the most important thing. But did we have that moment? Was there a walk-off home run? Was there a fucking Buckner-type ball between somebody's legs?
No, nothing I remember. No.
That's
It
the
can't be
problem
it.
with it.
Right.
It's like when you think back to the first time Boston won, it has more to do with them beating the Yankees in the playoffs than it does the series. The
Oh, yeah.
series wasn't necessarily a great one.
Right.
Vito, do you think you got one?
Yeah, it's so when the Cavs came back from 3-1 against the Warriors, it was that LeBron chase down block where he ran across the whole court and then just came up from behind and slammed the ball against the backboard.
You know what I was thinking that you made me? Who was the when he was with the? We had this fucking game over when he was with Miami, right? It was done. They were actually bringing the fucking trophy out to give it away, and then that kid hits the fucking three.
Ray Allen.
Ray Allen.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, my favorite 3-point shooter. I mean, he's fucking literally crazy person. That could be it. I didn't even think of that. I mean, because that had the thing of, oh, look, they're bringing out the trophy. I don't even remember to give it to who.
Right.
Who were they playing? Do you remember?
Spurs.
Spurs.
See, that's the problem with that, Spurs. But watch this. I mean, look at, and he had to back up, hit it
Ridiculous.
to tie it up. I mean, the thing's over. The game's over.
Yeah.
And I do love when somebody knows where the three is. That's used to be Reggie Miller's thing. He'd know when to step back when the three was much more important. I've always loved this kid, though. And they say he's like an OCD.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We've had him on the show once.
Yeah, it
and
was
he was
awesome.
much more normal than I thought he would be. I thought he was going to be
Yeah.
like almost scary weird.
Hey, David in Tennessee.
Hey, Bennington's the Russell Wilson interception in the Super Bowl in the end zone.
When they didn't give the
Had
ball
the
to beast
Patriots
mode.
win.
Yeah. And they gave a
Yeah, they
Patriots.
didn't give the beast mode.
Yeah, they gave the Patriots a win that should have been a loss for them. I mean, look how just fucking stupid, ridiculous this was to do. I mean, it was at a time where you felt smarter than the coach of an NFL team. You and I would have fucking handed it off twice before I would have thrown it at all. You know, and it's true. And and the word is always because he was trying to make his quarterback the star and not his running back.
Yeah.
Who he
Because also Beast Mode, he took a lot of shit that offseason for not talking to any of the...
I mean, he was an asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, he's half crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, Malcolm Butler grabbing that ball was fucking nuts.
I think the reason that they wouldn't give it is because it was a bad play rather than a great play,
Mm-hmm.
and then no one likes to see the Patriots happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Mike in New Jersey.
Yeah, how about the Philly special?
I love it.
I mean, it was
I mean, it
certainly
was a
the biggest.
special moment for me.
Yeah, it was certainly the biggest moment in my home.
Yeah, I don't know whether the rest of the country feels the same way.
Yeah.
I probably would pick that kid running and smashing himself next to the subway before anything else. Isn't it
God,
so
it
funny
was-
to see how far Philly has fallen that quick?
I know, it really is sad. How
Now,
did it happen?
It happens all the time. It happens all the time in the sports. That's why the Patriots are nuts. But sometimes winning gives you that champ fat, where if you look at the Vikings, they're still a good team.
Because they didn't get the win, you think?
Maybe because they're still going for it. They're still hungry. But you got to figure if they don't get it this year, it's probably not going to come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
They've been in it for like 4 fucking years now. And they will be forgotten about. I know what it's like to have a team almost open the door. And you hate those teams. You look back on them
It's crushing.
like they didn't become the champions they should have.
It's worse than having just a terrible team. Because
Oh, it's
just,
way worse.
It's just because it gives you hope. And that just sucks when it doesn't come through.
Yeah. And already, do you notice people are giving the Yankees this year again
Yeah, yeah.
because of this fucking trade? You're
Yeah.
just like, ugh.
Cam in Toronto.
Yeah, I'm a little biased on this, but Kawhi Leonard's shot, I was at the game. Not only was it a Game 7, but just so improbable that it even went in. Everybody was talking about it after.
There's some truth to that, and and the only thing that would hold it back is it wasn't in the fucking actual championship game, right? This was the
Yeah.
one against the Sixers,
Yeah.
which was like a dagger in my heart, like literally. Like,
Yeah.
this shouldn't have even happened, and that ended the Sixers. They were done.
I mean, that just looked like a movie. I
Yeah,
mean,
it
the way
does.
it just
Yeah.
it just kind of hung up there for a little while.
And it's one of the reasons why we're not as impressed with it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't the fucking perfect shot. It was the perfect lucky bounce.
Right.
It's so fucking weird that we don't have that moment that we could all agree on.
I mean, initially, like, if I thought, like, sports story, I was thinking Serena Williams winning the Australian Open. I believe it was 2017, pregnant. She crushed the Australian Open.
Yeah.
I believe, like, something like 10 weeks pregnant, something like that. And she's just, like, such a phenomenal athlete, but I feel like it wasn't necessarily the moment. It was like the story of that.
Yeah.
And the story of that game. And then everybody realizing her doing that, pregnant. I mean, she
this
can't
is her
even be a
winning.
real person.
It's the Australian Open that she won.
Yeah. Unbelievable that she did it. But I don't know if there was like the one crushing moment, but it was the story.
It also doesn't help that it's tennis. I mean, there's a small amount of people who care very much about tennis. And it used to be a major it used to be people who discuss tennis all the time. And they've just weirdly gotten further and further away from the mainstream. Seems like golf is almost heading that way again.
Yeah.
You know, where when Tiger came back, it seemed like if Tiger would have done that even 10 or 12 years before, everybody would be talking about it. And here it was like a minute.
Well, those are the sports, like, if you know the person's name, it's because they're the greatest of all time and they're world famous. And you know what I mean? Like, it's not the way you might just know about like whatever, hot sports star of like an American.
If I was going to pick the most famous golfer right now, I'd have to say Trump. I'm not even making that up.
It's true.
I mean, I know when Trump's golfing. I don't know when everything else is going on.
Tion in Boston.
Hey, what's up, Bennington?
Hey, how's it going?
How about that Super Bowl, Patriots versus the Falcons, when the Patriots came back like a 28-point deficit? The owner for the Falcons was on the field ready to congratulate the guys, and Brady came back and won the whole thing.
I mean, that guy broke up with his wife. It was so bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, their marriage could not sustain.
And there was one moment in that game when they were up big and they threw when they should have ran the ball to kill clock. And that was like the play that just gave the Patriots a chance.
Here's the amazing thing there. I mean, the Patriots coming back 28 points, right?
Yeah.
You think if this would have happened in the 60s or the 70s, it would be discussed every day. You know what I mean? Look at Joe Namath. You know what I mean? He was discussed all the time.
Decades.
We've already forgotten this thing.
Yeah, it's like a forgotten Super Bowl for the Patriots.
It doesn't make sense. And I think it's because there's too much information. There's too much sports information. Sports is going 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And they act like things that are important aren't. But that should be the Brady fucking moment that's talked about all the time. As a matter of fact, if you turn on ESPN now and any of the talking head shows, you would be of the mind of that Brady's not very good.
Yeah, they're trashing him nonstop. And then we don't even talk about his last Super Bowl. Last year, we don't talk about the last Super Bowl that he fucking won.
Well, you're saying we, but you're not on those shows.
You're right. You're right.
You should be saying they.
They.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe High Society's covering it pretty good. What are you guys talking about? All the good herb out there. Hey, like to get fucked up.
Jason in Rochester.
Okay, I think the number one sports moment is Joe Buck. Joe Buck called it his best call ever. It's the Minneapolis Miracle when Stephon Diggs caught that touchdown to win the game in the playoffs.
Well, that was a unbelievable, ridiculous thing that happened. It was not part of the nightmare that New Orleans has been in. And this is what keeps that from being that thing, is that then they go in and get trashed by Philadelphia the next week.
Yeah.
But we were all going, okay, this is the team of destiny. You don't have something like that happen. And the same thing with the Rams beating the Saints, and then they go in and get fucking embarrassed last year.
That was a fucking joke. They didn't belong there. But that's a ridiculous catch by Diggs.
How about this? How about when Joe Buck tried to have a talk show, and then Artie Lang went in and destroyed it the first week, and they took it away from him.
It's fucking great.
By just acting like he was the worst person and everything about him stink. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's unbelievable.
Hey, Maureen.
Hey, guys.
Hi,
Hey,
Maureen.
baby, how are you?
Good. I'm sorry you're not feeling well, and I wanted to let you know this in case you have to suddenly be out until after Christmas.
I just got a text from my doctor. My doctor says that he's crying.
Wow.
And he goes, he doesn't know what's wrong with me, and he says he might kill himself.
That sounds terrible. Did he give you any more details?
No, he goes, the way I'm feeling right now, I should walk in front of a train.
Oh, God.
So I'm just going to, should I write don't?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, but you know,
get to the bottom of this.
it's always been my fantasy to have someone kill themselves over me.
Well, I just wanted you to know that Paul Carrick's got a Christmas album coming out Friday.
Oh, we were just talking about Paul Carrick. What a
I
great...
know. And then I saw that, and I said, well, you need to know. You know, I don't want you to come back from Christmas vacation and then find out. Who wants to hear Christmas music then?
I'll start going fucking crazy. Now, do we know what he's doing on there, Earl? I mean, Chris, anybody, Earl?
I'm not finding the new album out. I've only found the one from 2013.
Nope, this is called Christmas with Paul Carrick. And he's doing, you know, Walking in a Winter Wonderland. That one's already been released.
Doing all the standards, huh?
Yep. Let me see.
I saw you just go past that, Chris.
This is a
Rudolph,
different
Have
album.
Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
Oh, that
Silent
one
Night.
scares me.
I know, that's your fave.
Yeah. Chris's favorite thing is this death metal song called "Let's Kill Santa."
Chris.
He's the only
Kids
into
can't
death
hear
metal.
that.
It's very metal. How can I not How could I not like it?
I was wondering, when Chris ate all the cookies, did he even give you any of that kettle corn I put in the bag?
Nope, and
What?
that is the first time I'm
didn't-
hearing about
I
it.
didn't even know there was kettle corn. Oh,
How
God.
would you not know it?
If you ate the cookies out of the same bag.
I might have left the kettle corn in the bag and just thought it were just cookies.
Oh, Maureen.
Jesus.
Oh, well.
Never trust him again.
No, never give him anything, Maureen.
Don't
I
trust
know.
me.
From now on, the handoff is going to be direct.
Yes.
Please, for the love of Pete.
And then Amy Miller, she brought some cookies in. Saw that we weren't eating cookies at this point, right?
Yeah.
So she goes, "Should I just take these?" And I say, "Yeah." And then Chris says, "No." And he goes, "No," and goes over and acts like he's grabbing the cookies and kept the box here.
Yeah.
So Amy contacted me that night. She goes, "My intention was not to give Chris a box of cookies."
I kind of know how she feels.
Yeah.
I love Chris, but
Chris doesn't understand because he's a sociopath, but people get their feelings hurt.
He treats everything like your soda bread. You know what I mean? He's got to eat the whole thing.
It's compulsion problems.
well, I guess maybe we'll have to do something new in the new year. We'll eat healthier. I'll bring you healthy treats or something.
Well, that way we know Chris will eat.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Love you, Maureen.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
I guess if anybody meets me, you're going to meet me in the hospital, but one of those hospitals in the fucking mountains that they send you to.
Like
when
fresh
you're alone.
air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll just be sitting out in like an old wheelchair.
Mhm.
Looks like a rocking chair, but with wheels. And I'll just have an Afghan on.
That'll be nice.
And I'll be able to look up and like, is that Chris Stanley? In
We
my
all
mind-
came to see you.
My mind will certainly float back 10, 12 years to happier times. Who is this young man? His name is Christopher Stanley. Says he wants to make it the radio game. Chris, what is a bigger thing of this decade? Meeting your new girlfriend or breaking up with your old girlfriend?
Ooh.
See, that's a difficult one.
I think it's meeting my new girlfriend because the breakup was going to happen, but just meeting someone new
But
that I
the
love.
drama of the breakup.
Yeah, it was
you know
a
what I
fucking
mean?
nightmare.
I heard all about it from a young whippersnapper out of Texas who said that you
You get
used
on
him
the
as a
deep.
shoulder to cry
I
on.
never did.
You cried, huh?
But
Never.
you make sure he never gets on the air to tell his story.
His story is bullshit because he likes to lie.
Vito, can I put you on the job of having the Draft House kid lined up for a phone or interview?
100%.
Chris Stanley has been blocking with his cock.
We want his cock free.
Whose?
And then
Draft
you
house.
acted like
Draft house.
when I said to you, I go, motherfucker, I saw the Draft House kid. I was going to spread you. You're like, oh, what? You're kidding me. And then I found out later from him, you already knew that he was back in Austin and he had talked to you.
I thought he was still in L.A.
I saw you talking to him at Moon Tower.
When? I never saw him in Moon Tower.
Probably when you walked him to the river and shoved him in.
I'm just going to say this. Chris is the one always pointing out Earl's lies.
Mm-hmm.
But take a look at yourself, dude. You tell a lot of lies, too.
Send Earl in here. Tell him to go as quickly as he can.
Go as quick as you can, Earl.
Tell him I want his new nickname to be the Black Flash.
Come on, Black Flash.
That was really fast, Earl.
That was good.
Can I do something?
He's not even out of breath.
And I feel like I'm representing the entire Bennington family right now when I say we're sorry for ever thinking that you lied, and it's been Chris that's been lying the whole time.
He's been pulling off this clever ruse and throwing me under the bus at the same time.
Right.
Mm-mm.
So
Chris,
what?
you've been caught.
Yeah, you're
There
caught.
is nothing caught. Earl is the liar.
And I just want to clarify that I believe you, Earl.
Earl's a good dude.
What?
He's cool, too.
Can I tell you something? I've loved Earl since the moment I met him.
That is
Thank
so
you, Ronnie.
sweet.
Yeah.
And you didn't really have that with Chris. You were startled, I believe.
You
by
know
him.
the first thing that, I mean, this is years ago when I met Earl. And you know the first thing that he said to me, because I remember it, he was like this. I go, I'm, here from Florida. I'm going to be, doing the night show here. And Earl goes like this. Well, give me some skin, Daddy-o. Because that's cool. He was wearing a zoot suit at the time.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was the year 2000. We're still pretty much in the jazz age.
Right.
You know?
It was a zoot suit riot.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's how far back I go with Earl. You know how far back I go with Chris? The day he stole those cookies from Maureen.
Much farther than that.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Why can't I remember anything else? I just remember those cookies disappearing. You're like working with a gypsy.
I'm not a gypsy. I'm a non-gypsy.
Now, Earl, did you follow the New Jersey fucking shooting that we had in the Jewish neighborhood?
Yeah.
Did you see who shot the fucking shooter? Bernie Kerrick's son. This is like...
Wow.
I mean, something like that happens in a movie. I mean, this was the top cop during the Giuliani years. He was the number one cop during 9/11 and all that.
Yeah.
Then he, got busted for some different things. But then that was his son that did the shooting. And then did you hear who the shooters were?
No, I did not.
The Black Israelites. Those guys that we've never taken fucking serious that yell at us.
So the dudes I see every night
yelling at us in Times Square.
Early Saturday morning yelling in Times Square. Those dudes?
Yeah.
It's weird to think because I was like, I've always kind of avoided them, but I always felt like they were all talk. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
Hot air.
When
I
people,
thought they were talking hot air.
when people would say, "Oh, I'm so scared of those guys," I'm like, "Relax, they're harmless.
Right.
Just don't get into debate with them."
Right. Just
And-
don't say, hey, I'm
I know.
not so bad, even though I'm white. Just forget it.
Wow,
It's
we
over.
believe in Jesus.
So Kerrick's son shoots one of the Black Israelites in New Jersey.
Yeah.
That is the craziest thing ever.
Yeah.
I know.
It is like a movie. You're totally right. There's like a vengeance story.
Sometimes I feel like I'm in a coma and I'm making all this stuff up.
Oh my gosh. Or like maybe we're in a snow globe or something.
Exactly. It's like a coma where you're living in a snow globe.
Yeah.
But I'm in my own mind, my own because that was an autistic kid. That's why he
Right.
was able to think of all these things. But then I think when I'm dreaming, now am I dreaming inside a dream? Fuck.
Weird. Hey, Sean in Buffalo has his greatest sports moment of the decade. Hey, Sean.
Hey, Bennington.
How's it going?
2014, I think, right around there, that Odell Beckham Jr., Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, one-handed catch. I think that was on repeat for SportsCenter for like 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, but then remember what happened? Everyone,
Yeah.
all the way down to high school, started making one-handed catches after that. So
Well, had
it's
to start
like,
somewhere.
yeah, but that's the thing. Like, who hit the first major league home run? I'm sure it freaked everybody out.
Right.
It went out of the fucking park. What is that? What do we do now?
Yeah.
Do we have a rule for this?
I guess, does he just take all the bases? Yeah, this was considered the impossible catch when he made it.
Wow.
And now, I'm not even kidding you, they show SportsCenter, you'll see high school kids doing this.
It happens.
They would rather one-handed catch.
That is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
It happens constantly now. You can't watch a game that there isn't a one-handed catch.
Right.
And a lot of it has to do with those fucking gloves.
Yeah, they're very sticky.
Yeah.
Like Spidey gloves.
They are.
It's like James Harden and that step back three that just everybody wants to do now.
Right.
Hey, Mike in Missouri.
I would think the greatest sports moment would be 2016 NCAA basketball championship when Villanova beat North Carolina on a buzzer beater.
It was a very exciting moment. I was so excited to see Villanova win that. But we do have to remember that it's college.
Right.
You know what I mean? College.
Well, we are Nova Nation.
Right. Nova Nation, get together. Chris, go on. I'm going to show Gail this. I don't think I've ever showed you Hoagie Dom, have I? On Instagram?
Hoagie.
Dom, D-O-M, like in dominate. Don't act like you're fucking like a court.
Oh, yeah, you didn't show me. You told me about this, but you didn't show it to me.
That's a new one right there. Is that a breakfast fucking sandwich?
Oh, that looks really good. All this is in Philly?
Yeah, but he goes around to New York, New Jersey.
That looks really good.
What's he saying, Chris? You can read.
All right, so this is. Let me read over here. It's not saying what the actual. All right, the
Oh my God!
This is just a long story. It's not. There's not saying what's actually on it.
It says location to be determined. Oh, it's in Brooklyn, Graham Avenue.
I could have you stop and get that on the way in, Gil.
Yeah.
Winsun the Bakery is where this is from.
Is that in Brooklyn?
Yeah. It's egg, raclette, braised pork knuckle, ginger, and deluxe sauce on custard toast, and a turnip cake with Benton's ham.
Sounds really good.
Some of those words weren't words that you said.
That's the whole breakfast.
We go to some of the other sandwiches. That one was
Ooh,
just
that looks
it's a
really good
meatball.
with like
Keep
broccoli
going
rabe
now.
on it.
Yeah, broccoli rabe has become very, very big.
It has.
You know that seed of bread. You know where that's from. That's Sarkone's bread.
It
Keep
is.
going, Chris. Like, just look at some of the. Like, instead of one at a time, take a look at the whole page, and you're able to specify. Well, that's still one at a time. This one's it. Keep going down. Now look at even some of these slices of pizza.
Man,
He's slowly going, but instead of
this guy knows how to eat.
yeah, I wish he was here scrolling for us. I'm not normally even a square pizza person, but
Where
look,
is that from?
I think that's a Brooklyn, but I think they call it a Detroit style pizza.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Detroit pan pizza. It's at the Sidecar Bar.
What's that? Where's that?
Finding out now. That's in
where?
Philly.
Looks really good.
I'm gonna go there tonight.
Mhm,
So
me
that's
too.
a Detroit pizza.
Detroit style pizza. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the new hot pizza these days.
Really? It's the trendy
Now,
pie?
now, why is it? What's the difference between a Detroit and what do we call it? Sicilian.
I think Detroit is just smaller. Like it's
How small is it?
like it's like
tiny?
a personal pizza basically.
That's too small for me, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's too fucking small.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm going to Detroit to do comedy. I should be picking up pizza there.
I know. Bring this pie and see if they think it stands up to theirs.
Charity Buzz. Today's the last day. We've only got a little more than an hour left.
I know. Go to at Bennington Show on Twitter if you want the link, or you could go to hungerthon.org for more information. But we've got the link there. You can go bid on a chance to co-host the Bennington Show with us. And we have just a little over an hour, so get there now.
Very, very exciting. Very, very exciting day.
Let's go over here to Max in Richmond.
Hey, love the show, guys. Ron, if you can get Creeps with Kids anywhere near the southeastern United States, I got a whole crew that'll come see you. I think the best sports moment of the last decade, even though it's college football and not as many people follow it, has got to be that Iron Bowl, Auburn versus Alabama, when Nick Saban tried to kick a 50-yard field goal and the guy for Auburn returned it 109 yards to beat him on the last play of
Was
the game.
unfucking believable. And that Iron Bowl every year is so tense, but this was a ridiculous. This was a movie play, right? Who returns a field goal? A field goal for 109 yards. Like, while I was watching it, I'm like, this can't happen. Alabama Auburn has got to have moved to the top as the game of the year every year.
Yeah.
Look at this.
That's ridiculous.
He's walking the
Oh my
tightrope.
God. I love everyone like on the side going crazy.
Yeah, I know. Look
It
at that
was so
stadium.
amazing.
All right, if we're gonna put college in, that's the play.
Right.
I mean, are you gonna compare that to fucking Odell Beckham with his sticky gloves catching them out with his hand?
And he's just
the way. By the way he's fucking supposed to do.
Bob in Detroit.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going, Bob?
Hey, the Detroit style pizza is made by a couple of different places in the Detroit area. The story or the legend is that the oven pan they used was actually a parts pan from the assembly line. So it made a crunchier, little bit thicker crust, and so it's not quite like a Chicago style, but it's a thicker, heavier pizza that it has a bunch of toppings on it.
Yeah, that crust looked absolutely phenomenal. That's what.
All right,
what
dude.
really
If
got
I'm
me.
gonna, is it gone?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm gonna order one, anybody from Detroit, if I can only get one place, where's the pizza place I want to go to try this?
Bob
Because-
in Detroit has an opinion on it.
All right, good.
Bob.
Yeah, definitely. Hi, how you doing?
How's it going?
Definitely Buddy's Pizza. They're the
Buddy's
ones who
Pizza in
started it.
Detroit.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, are they a
About
chain
9
or is it a
stores.
single place?
It's just it was like 9 stores. It's family owned.
Makes me nervous.
But yeah, they started it all, and that guy is correct. It was the parts pans from the Ypsilanti plant.
Well, when you see how thick that is,
Mhm.
it looks like I would not like it. That looks like lasagna to me. I like a
does.
nice thin,
No, it's nothing like. It's not like Chicago where it's just
disgusting.
piles of stuff.
Right.
It's really good.
It has a different, like it does. To me, it looks more appealing than the Chicago.
Now, I
style.
never, I'm going to be in and out of Chicago, but I would love to go to Motown because who knows what I'm going to get the chance to get. And I know they do like a little hour that you can spend there because it's a tiny place.
Right.
And I'd love to cut a record in Motown.
Yeah. You think that that's possible though?
I'm sure that it is. I mean, I'm going to come in there and say I'd like to, try out to do a record. If anybody does me, I think they're going to like what I'm doing.
Hey, Ryan in Long Island.
Yo, guys. From what I understand, the difference between Detroit style pizza is I think they put the cheese kind of bakes into the crust, and that's what makes the crust so crispy on the outside.
I
It's kinda
saw
like
that.
burnt cheese.
There is definitely cheese on the side of, like, on the lining of all those pizzas. Let's go over here to Josh in New Hampshire. What is your sports moment of the decade?
Bennington, hope you're doing well. Even the Centaur, I hope he's doing well too. But
he is.
In the 2015-2016 season, Ronnie, I know you're loving the Premier League. When Leicester City won the Premier League, that's huge. That's a tiny, tiny club. They beat out the likes of Man City, Man United, Liverpool.
Yeah.
Little bitty Leicester City winning the whole thing is humongous.
We got all behind that. We were all so excited, and they have that soccer sports bar downtown, and me and Chris were down there, and when Leicester City was winning that, we're jumping up and down, and I'm like, wait a minute, what's that smell? And all this shit was running out of Chris's pant leg.
There was a lot.
What
all through the
happened?
floor, and he was splashing in his own shit.
Why did you do that,
I was
Chris?
so excited for Leicester City. I just couldn't believe it happened finally in my lifetime.
But why is the consistency of your shit is what alarmed me. It was like an old-fashioned sloppy Joe in a school cafeteria.
What upsets you, Earl? Why does that make you so upset? Hey, Jimmy in L.A.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Top Jimmy swings.
Hey, I think the great sports moment this last decade was April 13th, 2016, when Kobe dropped 60 and beat the Jazz and then retired.
Yeah, I know. I kind of felt like that was a wrestling moment, if I'm going to be honest about it. I felt like they wanted to let him go out big. And that's what I was thinking about Eli the other night. I'm like, are they
Right.
letting Eli have this magical moment? No, they let him have a magical half.
Oh, that's sad. Let's go to Chuck. Hey, Chuck.
Hey, I wanted to say this is not a positive, but when Duke was playing North Carolina last year, and the president was at the game, all kinds of NBA players, all kinds of scouts, when that Zion Williams blew his shoe out and hurt his knee, if people wasn't watching it, they knew about it the next day because it was everywhere.
It was, and the downside is now people don't even remember that Zion isn't even playing.
No.
Vito acted like his whole life was based on Zion. And this is the way Chris used to act with Johnny Football.
Exactly.
Hey, listen, I know this year at Christmas is probably going to be tough for you, Ronnie, but I hope y'all get through it, and when you have hard times, jerk that grandyoung up, hug it real big, and you might get through it better.
Thank you,
Y'all have a
brother.
good holiday.
Thank you, my man. This is very sweet of you to say. But we're going to be here like four little Fonzies.
Mm-hmm.
What's Fonzie?
He's cool.
Yeah. What's Fonzie like?
He's cool.
Yeah, that's right.
Correcto mundo.
No, Ringo, you and I. Did you even see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yes,
Earl?
I did.
What'd you think of it?
I loved it.
including the weird ending.
Even the weird ending, I just surrendered to it. It was just like, I'm just gonna go absorb the whole thing, go where it goes, and and
I surrendered.
I was in a theater full of people, and everyone, when the twist kind of came, everyone was just you just hear everyone's jaws dropping and hitting the floor.
Why?
Because you thought the real event was going to happen, and then it just goes the other direction.
And you see that as a positive?
And then you realize, the movie is called Once Upon a Time, and this kind of gives away that it's not rooted in reality. It's based on actual events, but it's not the actual events.
I think I still just don't understand
why.
Yeah,
that's my thing too.
Yeah. There are things that I really loved about that movie, but that kind of confused me.
I think if they would have shown the people in the house
Mm-hmm.
becoming heroes, I'd still be like, well, what kind of pro-violence thing is this?
Right.
But, to have it just be these two kind of alcoholic fucking dude bros, you know what I mean? I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. And I said, unlike other people who bitch about movies, they went back a second time. Still didn't get it. I'm going to watch it a third and fourth time. Watch all his movies like that.
Right.
I wasn't crazy about Death Proof at first, but I like Death Proof better than anybody else that I know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I don't have it as my least favorite. I put Django down underneath Death Proof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I do as well.
But now that I've been thinking about it along, I think maybe, I know it's insane to say, but Jackie Brown is definitely its most underrated movie.
For sure.
Yeah.
And maybe the best.
I know.
It is my
That's
best.
what Jack thinks.
And
He does?
And it
Yeah,
took me
he
3
thinks it's
times
the
to
best.
watch that movie.
When I went and watched the QA thing, right? They showed when Jackie Brown is walking out and Max is looking at her, and you see this middle-aged man. I forget the song they were playing. It was a really great fucking song playing too. You see this middle-aged man fall in love like a teenager. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How often do you see the man fall in love and not the woman? You know what I mean? Like she was like the cool dude, and he was like I've lived the straight life, and now I'm seeing something.
Right.
That changed my whole life. And you're like, oh yeah, that was so powerful. And just the way that thing that they had between them during that movie.
She's beautiful and strong, but she looks exhausted at the same
Yeah.
time, and it's just such a cool moment. And you're right; it's not like the shot travels up her legs
Right.
or something like that you normally see.
It's his personal experience.
Yeah.
And he doesn't tell us, but we just look at him and we're hearing that fucking romantic 70s music play.
Yeah.
And we're like, this motherfucker, And Earl's never had a moment like that. in
Have
his
you
life.
ever looked at a woman that way, where you just couldn't believe her existence?
No. I can honestly say no. I had that lightning bolt.
Now,
of
more
time.
importantly, have you looked at a guy that way?
No, I have not. I never had a lightning bolt with a guy either. The moment.
You're acting like gay is the worst thing that a person could be. And that's really...
I
You
just
could
never had that
not
moment.
Be gay, but
Period.
Just don't be homophobic,
Yeah, you don't have to be homophobic about it, Earl. We got dish today?
We do. Yeah.
I might sleep during dish. and let
Okay.
You guys
You want to
handle
take
it.
a nap?
Yeah, I really do. Only 1 hour left on Charity Buzz.
1 hour for Charity Buzz. Go to @Bennington Show on Twitter. It's a top pin tweet to bid on a chance to co-host the Bennington Show.
I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
Really, really exciting.
I know.
All right, let's break back Bennington.
Not Another True Crime Podcast every week on Betches Media. And read his column, Did You Hear, with Kashmir every week on the iBang, and hosting Past the Aux at Union Hall, Brooklyn tomorrow night, December 12th, 10 p.m., unionhallny.com for tickets.
I love it. I love that you always do your comedy in your own way. You don't go through the normal channels.
No, yeah, I'm choosing my own adventure type of situation.
But you never would think to yourself, hey, why don't I try to go through the mics and see?
I know, because when I would do mics and things like that, I would realize I would either start to be like, oh, this is, I would walk in and immediately be like, oh, this is not the vibe.
Right.
That they're not going to love what I'm giving,
Yeah.
and kind of vice versa. Then I decided, all right, let me try doing my own thing and start building up from there.
I see that as nothing but maturity. You know what I mean?
That's
like
cool.
the thing
Yeah.
is, like, so many people bang their head against a wall that is a room they don't want to get into anyway. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because I know some people that are still like going to mics, like running around every night. They're like, oh, nothing is working, and I'm like, well, I don't like. Sure, it could be you a little bit, but try to do like something like try a different water to test out.
Do it yourself.
Yeah.
That's the old thing when you said in your punk days, right?
Yes.
DIY.
Yes.
Now, the kids that were in here yesterday, Claire and
I love Claire,
Ashley.
yeah.
Well, you know Claire Parker.
Yeah, she did my show a few months ago. Yeah.
I got a thing for her that she is concerned that Chris Stanley is stalking and has left a couple of messages with her that she finds to be sexually threatening.
What?
How so?
I'm not going to get into it, Chris. I
Okay.
passed it on to HR.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been through this enough
yeah, I
when I
saw
worked
what
for
people
Fox
do
News.
sometimes.
You know what I mean? Let the
Yeah.
pros handle it.
Yeah, a second bombshell. Yeah.
Now, it isn't the first time this has happened with Chris, and oddly, it's not the first time that's happened to Claire.
Right. Well, that
You know,
makes sense.
and
That
maybe
tracks.
she's giving, she's giving off vibes to him
Some
that
point, you gotta
know
go,
he's
is
interested.
the problem me?
Yeah.
You
Right.
know what I mean? Am
'Cause,
I
like,
the common denominator?
What was she wearing here?
Right.
What was she doing?
But
What
you
was
know
her-
this. Sometimes girls will act like they're interested when obviously the person is overweight and kind of filthy.
Right, exactly. We use that
I'm
to
saying
get.
you, but I'm saying
okay.
the reason why you're so unhappy.
Mind games.
Like if
Yeah.
I was just like, I need power from this fat man. You know what I mean?
She said to me, she goes, "Can you put a fucking muzzle on fat taxi driver?"
That's
and
what
I
she
go,
said.
I can't. I go, he lies to me so much. I go, I'll just pass it on to HR.
I don't lie.
Take it up with the building.
Oh, hold on, coffee.
Oh, the Beddoes is back.
Why didn't you get anything for Kashmir? You know he's a coffee drinker. Do you like coffee? Would you like one?
I'm good for now. Thank
You
you.
sure?
Because I tripled up on a cold brew this morning because I had the office holiday party
You
last night.
actually
Yeah.
choose cold over hot all winter long.
Yeah, I don't know. It just because it goes down quicker, smoother for me.
Yeah.
And I always I don't know how to stop myself, so I'll just always burn my tongue.
But I go with the seasons, you know? It's like, when is that moment where it's,
It's
time to
the
move over?
time of the season for coffee.
And there is a cute little like Hallmark vibe of yourself walking around with like a hot coffee with
I
both
know.
hands down the street.
Yeah.
Especially in this area. Yeah.
I'll go like this. Seems like Christmas is coming to Angel Falls early this year. They always have a name like that on those Hallmark movies.
And it's always the person like, I gotta leave my big city job, gonna go back
Yeah.
to Angel Falls and help, plant trees. And it's like,
It's true.
what?
Yeah, it's true. Like there's I'm working on the decorations this year. They pay a lot of it. And they'll go like this. Christmas is my favorite time of the year.
But though, here's the crazy thing. The longer I stay here, the more I fall in love with
I know. It's true.
And you have like a woman who was like a top lawyer for 15 years. She's like, no, I just decorate the hotel on Christmas Eve now. That's where my happiness actually
There's
is.
a lot of bed and breakfast in that.
Yeah, my
There's-
career wants were nothing. Yeah.
There's I like when sometimes they act like someone that is Santa or is an angel because they don't add anything to it, you know?
Right, exactly.
Now, the other night I was watching one, and I've never seen this anywhere else, that the woman that you were supposed to fall in love with, she was a widower, and a guy had come back from Afghanistan, and it seemed like they had something. But the woman was actually chubby, and you don't see that
Oh,
in
yeah,
a
I
rom
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
And so, like sometimes, like if there's a movie, you're like, "Hey, well, I'm chubby and I don't like myself." No, she was fine with it. Now,
Wow.
here was the spin on this: the Christmas miracle. Her husband was killed in Afghanistan, and her husband had saved this guy's life.
Oh.
And then they found that out after the fact, and they felt like it was the Christmas miracle that they should be together.
See, I don't watch enough of these. Like, I need
recommendations
on the best ones.
No, there are
because
no
every-
best ones.
No.
They're all exactly the same.
They're all the same, but you can just watch it on loop. That's all I watch in
Right.
December. I don't keep in touch with a single modern show. I'm just watching like Wreath Me Not or something like that. Yeah, just yeah.
After my father passed away, I didn't really feel like concentrating on anything.
Right.
And this channel got on, And I would just go like this. I'm going to go to bed as soon as I find out what's going to happen when he's still. And it's the same thing.
Right.
Nothing.
You think they'll get back together? or
Yeah,
no?
they do. And it's the most non-sexual attractions
there's-
that you'll ever see. It's like 6th grade.
You're like, do you think she'll believe in Christmas and love again at the end? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know. Yeah.
But they never really make out. They never end up in bed. They don't do
Right.
anything.
No.
Where you think that there'd be a market for that too? You know,
Right, a little like hot and
a
heavy
s-
one.
Yeah, get like a real sexy Christmas.
Maybe we start another channel and call it Hot Fuck Christmas.
That's the
Because
name
I
of the
like a
channel.
hot fuck movie. By the way, I don't judge them by what they look like or what they're, or even if they're cheating.
Yeah.
I don't go like, how dare you two?
Someone a female friend obviously recommended a show because she's just like, it's porn. It's porn. You got to watch it. It's porn. I was like, there's porn out there.
Yeah,
and
right.
she's like, no, but this is like, then your husband will just think you're watching a nice Netflix show, but it's porn.
You're like, I don't want to watch
and
it a
I was
half
like,
hour.
okay, I'll watch it. But here's the thing. Half of it's porn. The other half, there's quite a lot of non-consensual sex because it's a period piece. So yeah, she liked having sex with this guy, but later she didn't like having sex with that guy. So
like
it
it's
takes
Handmaid's
me
Tale.
out of
Yeah.
it. I don't enjoy that.
Now, you
And
know.
let me tell you this: a brutal gay rape, a brutal man-on-man rape.
The glasses off for that.
Yeah.
too. Like, that was your Wendy Williams.
Tell me again.
Let me tell you, it's a very brutal rape. Okay.
But see, here's the thing. Non-consensual is appealing to a lot of women and young gays that haven't come
It's a
out
porn
yet.
fan. Yeah.
Right.
Because they're like, I could do this, it wouldn't be my fault. Mateo Lane told me that he had found out that a guy on his wrestling team had non-consensual rape with a guy that he was with, like wrestling with, and took it all the way till he banged him in the ass.
Right.
And he said he jerked off thinking about that for
Interesting.
8 months.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you're like, it's not my fault.
Okay,
I
now
get
that
to
I
do
think of
everything.
it,
Yeah.
Now that's probably why the male on male was so gratuitous.
Right.
Because it becomes what was that that one in the 80s that
Friends.
no that show where there was a rape and then she ends up marrying the guy.
Oh,
and
that
they
was
fall-
General Hospital.
General Hospital. Okay,
Oh.
so it's that kind of situation. They don't end up together, but he's like, "Damn you for making me like it." Eventually, you know what I mean? It was
Oh, okay,
really
so it's gonna be.
That was the famous Luke and Laura from General Hospital.
yeah.
That's an insane plot line.
Yes, she got raped on the floor of a disco, and people liked them together so much. It was supposed to be like Luke was going to be off the show. This was
As he
his.
should. That should be his send off.
But it was
Usually it's
really.
one and done.
You have to remember this way. It's not like they pushed this down America's throat. America wanted it.
They
wrote
screen
in.
tested well,
Yes.
yeah.
Interesting.
They were like, we want Luke and Laura, not Luke and not Scotty and Laura. He's. You
He
know,
asks too nicely. When
Yeah.
he has sex with her.
He does her laundry.
and they had to make him start to be a bad character because there's no reason that she would dump this nice guy.
For her rapist.
Yeah.
yeah. She's like,
The
actually.
guy who forced me.
Now that's a Christmas movie.
I would. By the way, I would love to run a soap opera. It looks like so much fun to come up with those storylines. It'd be like if you got to work on the wrestling storylines. It's the same
Right.
thing.
Because it's just like a cousin who wasn't born, but then born and is a prince with jewels. It's great. Oh,
Now, what is this Netflix show with the?
So it's called Outlander. And it is.
Is that a sci-fi type thing?
Okay, so it's kind of a sci-fi. It's a
that kid-
historical. It's a historical romance, but it's a time traveling historical romance.
Really?
That it's like Scottish history. And here's the bizarre thing about it: it's like she's from just after World War II. She was a nurse, a British nurse in World War II. And then she travels back to like Scotland in like the 1700s. So it's like,
is she magic?
It's like a period piece within a period piece. Oh, yes. I forgot to say sci-fi, history, romance, and witchcraft.
Oh, God bless.
That is added into it.
Who says you can't
And
have it all?
porn.
And porn.
And porn.
Sci-fi porn.
Both, consensual and non.
I will say this: sometimes at night on Showtime, or whatever, there's the softcore porn,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the worst thing that you could ever. It's the most frustrating thing in the world.
Yeah.
because it's bad acting
Right.
and no sex.
It's just like a college film that they're just like, all right, we'll play it here.
I remember once as a kid watching one of those and just really getting into the plot.
Sure.
Like it was like I feel like they were in the wine business for some reason, and then there was lots of sex. But like, I was pretty interested in the story.
And I feel like
too,
whenever
what's
you
gonna
check into
happen.
a hotel, like there's just a chat, like 12 channels where it's just all softcore porn, and you're like, I
Very
just want to watch the
expensive,
Food
though.
Network. Yeah, it's very
It's like $19, and you're just like, I can't have this show up on the bill.
I know, and for that much,
Yeah.
you gotta go hardcore. I
Right.
feel.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
be
I mean,
very
if-
hardcore.
Or just get a friend's Netflix and watch Outlander.
Yeah,
Did
exactly.
because I saw unfortunately a young kid in it passed away today. Was he a main character in it?
Oh my God, I don't.
In
I
Outlander?
didn't know.
And literally it happened like when we were walking when I was coming over here. They were calling him the next Billy Elliot.
Oh
I
my
know.
God, that is so sad.
Was he raped to death?
There is one
With-
kid who was raped in it.
Back to
That's
the
another
Future.
one. Throw
Child?
another one. There was a child rape in there too.
Oh.
Lest you
Why
know.
is Chris writing the name down now?
Want to know what?
Outlander.
He's like, wait, so what streaming platform is this on? Yeah.
Oh, and then that's the other thing. I watched it. There's 4 seasons. I watched 2 seasons on Netflix. That's all they have.
Oh.
And I got to get stars now
Who
to get
gets
the rest.
stars?
I know.
No.
I have to get
I have
stars.
stars.
Don't do it.
I have stars.
Just wait.
No, I'm not going to wait. I
No, 'cause
can't
now
wait.
you need to know.
Because you know what? I bought the first episode of season 3, and then I started to do the math. I was like, this is really going to set me back. I'm going to have to get stars. You know, this is a young man's game.
Right.
Right.
Don't feel like in your 40s
No.
you should be rap battling.
But also, I'm going to say this. Nick Cannon, you are not on fucking Eminem's wavelength, right? You know what I mean? To me, this would be like hearing about somebody fighting with Paul McCartney or Dylan. Like, Mick Jagger could fight with Paul McCartney.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the fucking guy from Maroon 5 can't.
That's
You know?
yeah, that is a perfect comparison. Because also it's like Nick Cannon's more so known for his like
Hosting.
Yeah, hosting and
Yeah.
Wild and Out, and that's like apparently that show is still very much on the air. And every episode he's telling the audience, "Cheer for Eminem to come on and talk to me," and I'm like,
Right.
Eminem's not gonna do that. And it just and I also hate it too, especially because this is Mariah Carey's season.
Right.
She doesn't
I
need
know,
this.
she
Yeah,
doesn't
she's
need
Christmas.
this. This
She's
is
Christmas.
like, just let her enjoy.
By the way, she did one of those movies. She
Oh,
did one of
oh,
the.
really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, she's in it. I don't think she's the main star, but she shows up.
I would like to see this.
You know who had a cute one? Dolly Parton's.
Oh, yeah.
Coat of Many Colors.
Yeah.
That
All right, I need to watch these. I haven't seen any of
You'll
them.
feel better about yourself.
you will feel so good. And
Wait,
there's
hold on one second. Queen Elizabeth has called, and she's got some news for me. Queen.
Hey, Gail. Hey,
Hey.
Danny.
Hey.
Hi, Ron.
Hey.
Did anybody get you an icy juice?
No.
Oh, that's what he needs.
Useless.
Icy juice.
Yeah.
I have an Outlander. I was sold the same way you were for it, and I have to admit, yeah, it is pretty. I never saw a dagger used in consensual intercourse before.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. Season 3 is up on Netflix.
It is.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday they put it up.
Oh, my God. You
Yeah,
just
no
saved
worries,
me.
honey.
You just saved me.
You just canceled her plans tonight.
I'm not even kidding you. I almost got stars last night. I'm
No,
just like,
no,
let me
just-
just think about this.
Yeah, because they advertise it. I have to catch up because there's only so much gay rape you can take.
Yeah,
for
it's
a while,
true.
but
during the holidays too.
I have to get back into it.
I'm so excited. Thank you for this amazing news.
Okay, and if I don't talk to you guys, Merry Christmas.
To you
Merry
too.
Christmas.
All right,
Have
bye.
yourself a Merry Christmas.
Take care of yourself.
Have a merry little Christmas.
Oh, that's cute. It's animated Mariah Carey.
Oh, adorable.
She's so good.
Oh, they named the film after that?
All I want
She's
for
gonna be
Christmas is
riding
you.
that tight. Yeah.
Yeah.
All I want for Christmas is you.
They're predicting this is the year that goes number 1 officially too.
Number 1 overall.
Overall, yeah, because it's been to number 3 so far at its peak.
Yeah,
I
that's
love it.
yeah.
It's so
It deserves it.
it deserves it
100%.
so much. 'Cause
She deserves it.
And I love to. I just want to watch her listen to every new artist release a Christmas song that tries to compete with it. And she's
I
like,
know.
"Good,
Not yet.
yeah, no, enjoy." And then we have with Juice World. Speaking of music, his it's just the insane trend when an artist passes away, especially a rap artist, one of the younger ones like XXX Tenacion. Their music surges.
We love dead people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then and it's also I think obviously this would happen when any artist passes away, but his music wasn't like the streaming numbers from when he passed away from when he was alive day to day, astronomical.
Right.
It's insane.
Well, young people are interested in death. It's their first time they've really brushed up against it.
Right.
You know, they haven't been around for all the other deaths, so they get obsessed with it. I understand it completely. Now, his story, did you hear how he died, they think? So they're coming in. I guess he had a drug problem. He's flying private in. Boom, they're laying for him. The feds come in to bust the place. He takes a bunch of perks and swallows them. And
To try and like hide,
to hide them so he doesn't get in trouble. And takes a fit. Boom, gone.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's terrible.
Now again, I mean, he's not a drug dealer. Why are we making a big deal out of this?
I
The
have no
kid
idea.
is fucking sick. He's a drug addict.
Yeah.
We won't say it as a sickness as many times as we say it.
I know.
And,
That's so.
and it's also a thing too. He was flying on. He had a private jet, and I
Yeah.
mean, it's like
Right.
so. Don't like. I feel like they need more reason than just we're gonna investigate him to like break him down for this. And like he knows he's a young kid.
By the way, somebody might have called that knows him, thinking this could be the bottom that he needs. You know what I mean? Like, let's get him arrested. Because how's anybody going to know you got fucking drugs
Definitely.
in a private plane?
Right? Yeah.
But sometimes that's done out of, I'm going to get that fucker. But other times, like, this is what he needs. And then he eats a fucking fistful of pills.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Juice World.
And it's so. And like this was his breakout year too. He was just starting. It's
Yeah, didn't he win some kind of young
new.
performer,
Yeah,
new
like
artist?
he was like taking over the VMAs and everything like that too.
Apparently, they said the pilot of the plane was the one who dimed them out.
That could happen.
Because they said they saw guns on the plane.
Yeah, that could happen.
Just
That's really sad. I wish he wouldn't have had that really bad idea.
I know.
I remember when the guy who was flying, Ron White, him private, he made a call.
Right.
And said those guys are smoking weed. And they get there, and Ron White had like an eighth of an ounce. And then Ron White said, eighth of an ounce, that's what I consider out of weed.
That's hilarious. Hey, I just want to plug because we have less than 30 minutes. You can go to at Bennington Show on Twitter for the link for Charity Buzz Auction, hungerthon.org. Bid on a chance to co-host the Bennington Show with us. So we have less than 30 minutes.
That's exciting.
I know.
That's cool.
It's really fun.
And so then we have Bette Midler, who loves to make a headline.
Yeah, she does.
And she likes to get involved in things, and I'm like, Bette,
She's getting herself in there.
Yeah, just
she
watch
got that
Beaches.
Twitter account.
Yeah, she's got that Twitter account, and she definitely runs it on her own.
I know.
Don't know how she's doing that, but so Justin Timberlake had to apologize to Jessica Alba after the touching the co-star on the knee. So now Bette Midler's saying, well, where's his apology to Janet Jackson's breast?
Yes.
Long enough ago.
And I also love he apologized 2 weeks ago. So Bette was stewing on this. She's like, all right, there's something there.
There's something there.
Something there.
I know how to get him.
It's in the zeitgeist.
From what, 14 years ago?
By the way, Bette Midler looks amazing in that picture. I mean, is that real? She looks incredible.
She does look that good.
She looks incredible. What a beauty.
And she's spunky, too.
Yeah,
She's
she
fun.
lives on the Upper East Side. I'm always looking for her. I've never once saw her. Never once saw her.
Chris, why did you zoom in on her breast? I mean, we're
fucking-
looking at
these
her
look
face.
nice.
I mean, yes, they do, but we were looking at her face.
I mean,
This is everything that Claire is saying that you're doing with her.
Why are you? What did she say to her?
Nothing's happened.
He sent Claire a picture of Bette Midler's breast. It was just like, don't you like
No, you wish this was your breast?
Yes.
Guess the breast. But I mean, I love
Disgusting.
Bette for the rose. I wish she would kind of just go back to that. That was
Yeah.
a great era.
Dude, you know that we have friends that have never seen The Rose, and they think they love Bette Midler. And they have Mateo is one of them.
Yeah, and Lisa Traeger was.
Lisa Traeger, and
we
I
told
scream
them,
at them. I go, "You gotta watch the fucking Rose."
Watch the Rose. It's so good.
Because that's the one when I get mad a few times about Oscar snubs, but that one was really infuriating for me just because it's
crazy.
Oh, she's so good.
It's the best Janis Joplin movie that was never made.
Yeah, that's true.
And she does that "Fire Down Below" song by Seeger, and it's not that good of a song, and she fucking
Yeah, she
kills
makes
it.
it
She
great.
makes me love that song.
I know. God, I love her. I love that movie.
Oh, and I love to because she does a lot of. She's been now just doing a lot of cover albums too, and every single time I'm like, oh, I love that. She does a cover of my favorite "Waste of Time," and I'm like, oh, this is now
Oh, I love
my
it.
favorite
Yeah.
song from 2017, even though it came out decades ago.
She kills me in The Rose, but she's in that thing, and she's like, she's all fucked up, and she's crying, and she's talking to like her mom or something. She's like, "Oh yeah, well, who's on?" Like in the middle of this, she starts asking like who's on the Tonight Show, and she's like, oh yeah, she's good. You know what I mean? Like it's that weird little thing, that connection that you have with people.
I know.
She's so good.
Poor Rose.
The Rose.
Pretty therapist.
And now we got to get to the kind of emotional segment of what's love got to do with it.
Oh, good.
What's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion?
And all right, so this first story, it's not about celebrities per se, but it was this couple who got engaged at the Alice and Olivia sample sale, which kind of just enraged me because I don't know why. There's few places in public that I think an engagement is okay at, and a sample sale is definitely not one of them. And the designer of Alice and Olivia tried to make it like a cute moment for them. So they had Jenny Mullen, Jason Biggs' wife, who's really funny, so good, great author, Pierre to like hug them, and then Kristen Chenoweth was shopping and just took a picture with them. So it's a very awkward situation.
Yes, that is incredibly awkward and very strange. This is totally bizarre.
It's so weird to me. And then they asked, like, why did you want to get engaged? Or to the husband, why did you think she would want to get engaged here? And he goes, she loves sales.
She loves sales. By the way, you turned me on to Jenny.
Oh.
You told me to follow her on Instagram, and I'm kind of fascinated by their life. Like they have a reality show, but on Instagram.
Yeah.
So it's like you have a reality show, but you're not getting paid for it.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like their
Right.
whole
It's
marriage,
nuts.
I feel
You know
intimate
every
details
in and out.
They love
and
sharing
things.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
But
kids
weird
drama.
is everything is about them and their family,
Yeah.
but they don't put. She doesn't put pictures.
faces, yeah.
So she'll like put a little emoji over a kid's face or whatever. But it's funny that she does it because every other detail is so intimate.
I'm like, we've seen so much of Jason Biggs on our Instagram, and then like talking about his career struggles, her
I know,
being
and she's
stressed.
always negging him.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where I'm like, all right, you guys are negging. I guess you guys are fun together, but I don't know. She goes a little in on him.
She does go a little far.
what's her
Okay, so we
background?
fucked a pie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So she was trying to make it as an actress when they were married, and then she kind of made herself. She started just like tweeting about being like less famous than him and egging him on. So then people thought, oh, she's really funny through that. And then she got a book deal, really hysterical first book, and now kind of just writes books and has like a ton of Instagram followers. So sort of just literally, like you were saying, documents her life on Instagram.
Yes, everything that she does, every little moment.
It's like Busy Phillips-ish, but like with less of a filter type of
Right.
situation, and like I guess the New York version.
Yes, and then she does a lot on stories.
Mhm.
And one weekend, I think it was like her, I can't remember what birthday, and she went to Israel.
yes.
And I mean, she might have been putting a live video up every 15 minutes. And one night, I just sat there and like just watched, and I was like, I think I just spent 40 minutes watching her Instagram story, and it was like not that entertaining, but I
No.
couldn't stop watching, and I was like, she gives us every detail.
Every detail, even of Sissy too. I get very into
I know,
Sissy.
and then
Yeah.
like finally by the end of the night, I was like, they're in bed and they're like eating like leftovers in bed, and I was
Yeah.
like, am I going to see them have sex right now? Is this where this is going?
I
I've
feel like
been
I
with
could
them
see it
all
happen.
day.
Yeah, right. You're like, let's just turn off the lights together,
Yeah.
guys. Oh, I know, but because he's gonna be, and I do like when she talks about because he's in LA now shooting a new show that her just like parenting alone and stuff like that.
Mhm.
That's fun. She's good, but so I feel like even though she's cool, I wouldn't want her to be at her to be like the perk of my engagement.
Right.
Yeah. But mazel to them. And then we have William Shatner filing for divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad.
After
Oh,
18
boy.
years, and it's his fourth divorce. So
After a while, you wonder if it's him. You know what I mean?
So, you know what I mean? He's a cool guy.
him and Claire have a lot of self-reflection tonight.
And then, also Spock wouldn't talk to him for 25
I
years.
saw
Spock,
that.
yeah, Spock hated him.
They hate each other.
And so did Zulu hated him because he didn't let Zulu become a captain.
And, but it's, I mean, at
Do you
least
think he'll get married again?
right. I feel,
Yeah.
I honestly feel
Quickly.
like, yeah, and because also it's surprising all of his wives, his past four wives, were similar in age to him. So I wonder if he's gonna bite the bullet and make the jump down a few decades.
Yeah,
he's got to be with a 23-year-old.
Yeah.
Somebody that can push him around town.
Yeah, I mean, wife 5 has to be a real knockout. I feel.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? You want it to
Do you
be a
think
good
it's nice though when older people get together with older people? It seems like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's cute.
Well, at least then somebody going like, yeah, man, I remember when Elvis first broke.
I know.
You
'Cause
know,
it is hard not to have the same cultural
Right?
references.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it really makes things difficult.
Because they're not going to know what Star Trek is.
Right. It's
know.
really hard to say to a young person that Welcome Back Kotter was the best, and then you play it, it's not that good.
Right.
Because you're not 11.
Right. And
You
you
know?
could imagine what it would be like, where it's just like, honey, when were you in Star Wars?
Star Trek, honey.
Was Natalie Portman nice when you filmed Star Wars? She's cool.
It's in Star Trek. 1967, Summer of Love.
And now, so we're jumping over to some royal
Fantasy.
It's such a perfect song.
I know.
She really.
It's the best song. It's the best song of the decade.
Yeah. And I always laughed at when I'm like, it's just like her first one out. She's like, oh shit, I guess I'm doing this now. She's like, all right, it's all in. But Jennifer Myers is a good friend of Meghan Markle, as a lot of people are. She got in trouble by the Buckingham Palace because she was posting pictures of Meghan Markle wearing her jewelry on her Instagram, and apparently that's very much illegal.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? What? Like, why is it?
So they, well, it's because she's the daughter of the head of NBC Universal too, Ron Meyer, and then because it suggests that she is getting using her for promotion, and apparently the royal family is not allowed. I guess they're like judges in the sense they're not allowed to use get free gifts or anything like that.
Oh, I
so
see.
it seems like, did Meghan exchange getting this like nice jewelry for being posted about it?
Okay.
And then there's like she had to sign an agreement, Jennifer, that you are not allowed to like brag about dressing a royal, apparently, which is like a little like the quote unquote layman's term for it.
Right,
So,
like because you can't use it to like promote your product.
yeah, because like for people that dress celebrities on the red carpet, so much of you get the spikes when you see the celebrity in
Totally.
the outfit or anything like that. But apparently for a royal, if you do that, it's seen as like going against their government. So
Right.
yeah, and Jennifer was like, I didn't know that. I'm mortified now.
Right. So you can't be bragging that you did the 3-piece suit that the queen is in, from top to bottom yellow, banana yellow.
Her horseback riding.
I'm going to
outfit.
tell you something here. I don't know whether it will happen, but this whole royal thing could fall any day. This
Yeah.
thing is breaking it
Something
between
feels-
this and Andrew. People are fed up, and I hate the people who think that this whole thing is a good idea.
I think that it, for the first time, is starting to look quite
Crumble.
dated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just isn't holding up, and their power isn't holding up. And the
That's
queen's
the
getting
thing,
old up
'cause
there.
people are like, what are we even using them for?
Right.
Besides just making them instant celebrities that have the power to control anything, bury anything.
And they're starting to look racist by the way they're treating this girl.
Yeah.
And then the
100%.
country has to say, oh, we're paying people to act like racists.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing. I mean, the big story was like, oh my God, this is like a princess story. Like, not only is she American, she's African American. This
yeah.
is like amazing. And then their response to it has been less than.
Yeah, it's sort of a.
I'm like, yes, did they give Princess Di this treatment? 100%. And look at how horrible that was.
Yeah.
It ended poorly.
And they're trying to make.
Yeah, it's just looking bad, and I'm
also-
leave Megan alone all the time now.
Team leave
Like,
Meghan alone. And I feel like another level of crumbling is because her and Harry, they're just like, oh, we're over. We don't care about this. I
Right.
don't.
They're
Like he's
like,
very
we
much.
wanna-
I don't want to plan my life around what these.
She's
people...
not really playing. I mean, she's playing their game in the way that I feel like she tried her best.
She did, yeah.
You know what I mean? And she was always getting in trouble for stupid shit, like being nice to people.
Yeah,
and,
smiling.
yeah, like
looking
like
tired.
shaking someone's hand. Oh, you're not allowed to do that anymore. Whatever it was. Someone handed her flowers. You're not allowed to take those. Whatever. It would be like these little things. And then I think she just kind of threw her hands up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck this. I'm not playing their game anymore. I'm tired of them writing shit about me.
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm black.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna go back to LA. Fuck you
They
all.
got their little babe.
The little babe.
Archie, right?
Archie, yeah, cute little baby.
Stop.
Oh
It's
my
so
gosh,
cute.
I know.
But Yeah, I think that there's just over it. And now it's starting to, like, everyone was in love with Kate, and now it's just making her look bad. I just kind of feel like I don't like her.
Because I feel like Kate's just kind of always to Megan, like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Like, there's something, like, weird about the fact that she jumped into it so
Mhm.
willingly.
She gives me the energy because you see someone, you're like, oh, you've screamed at someone in like a pantry of your kitchen.
exactly
like that's
right.
very much Kate
She's a little
Middleton.
rich girl.
Yeah. She's just like, shut the fuck up, mom. Yeah, and you're like, Kate, calm down.
Yeah.
And then ties in with the royal family in terms of now this is what everyone considers them. We're moving on to creeps.
But I'm a creep. I'm a widow. What the hell am I doing here?
I don't know if you saw it too. Someone tweeted that they loved Lena, like when we played the Lena Hall version, and Lena Hall liked it and said,
Oh,
thank you
yes,
guys.
I did
Thank you
find
for the
out
love."
about that.
Yeah.
I was very happy for
Oh,
you.
that was She's so cool. Oh, my
Because I know how much you said you loved her,
Oh,
and now you got that thing of, hey,
Mhm.
why don't we hang out together?
I know. I'm like,
We
girl,
should be friends.
let's meet up. We can sit at the bar alone together. But we have Aaron Carter is one of those other guys who I just think needs to get things deactivated and calm down. He's in
worried about
trouble.
that dude.
Yeah. He's accused of racism after imitating a Chinese accent on a video and posting it to his personal Instagram, which I feel like kind of.
Does he read the news?
Yeah.
or
No, he doesn't.
Have
he's got a
Twitter or
face tattoo.
anything?
Yeah.
We've decided that's not okay anymore.
He wrote, when your friends can't order Chinese food, chicken in NYC, and you have to show them your cultural status, and then posted it. And then he said, oh my God, if I was racist, would I really order Chinese food?
He's right about that.
Good
Racist-
point.
Well,
You really poked holes in that.
He's like, come
no
on,
racist.
guys.
I feel like
ever.
you can't bring down somebody who's already under,
Yeah.
you know. But here's the thing: I have seen guys all the time go, "Hey, I want some meatballs and pizza."
They do that a
Nobody
lot.
gets mad.
Yeah.
You know why? Because the Italians are not ashamed of themselves or their culture or their accent. Why are we acting like the Chinese people are a minority? There's 1.5 billion of them in China. They're the majority of the world.
Or the lingua franca, too.
That is their accent in America.
Mm-hmm.
Stop acting like it's a terrible thing. They talk that way. It's okay.
And then Aaron also, he was like, oh, I thought it would be easier for them to understand me. And I was like, I think they... Yeah.
I do this with Vito all the time. I go, well, Vito, you got to treat us like a mafia, you know? Like a mafia. Why don't Italian people get mad when people do Italian accents or eat your food or whatever?
I think we're just happy with it. I think it comes from like Italians when they first came here, just like wanted to just assimilate and stuff. So they were just went with whatever.
You
got
haven't
thrown at
yet. Go to Staten Island and see if there's been assimilation. Matter of fact, Staten Island says they went out of New York City.
Do they?
Yeah, they're putting up a thing that they could not go to Jersey, which I think would make sense.
Yeah,
they want to.
yeah.
They want to leap over and be part of upstate New York. I don't think that's going to.
No, they're Jersey, if anything.
Yeah, they're very-
But
yeah.
you know what? Let's be honest. They're not New York City.
They're not
and
New
they're
York City,
right.
and they know it.
They know that they're not, and they're probably tired of being like the last ranked borough.
The small
They're like,
fish,
let
yeah.
us just be on our own. We're
Right.
tired of like living in this shadow, quite literally.
But you know,
Ashley
I mean,
Simpson status.
Jersey City is closer than New York is. Hoboken is
Yep.
closer
Yeah.
to New York than Staten Island. I mean, it doesn't make fucking sense.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly feel like you feel more even the commuter presence of those places.
Right? Of course.
You
Why
know?
does somebody want to take a boat to come here?
Because that's like all those places
Very
they have the
annoying.
PATH train that's
Cold.
8 minutes versus a free ferry made famous only by Working Girl that no one really wants to take besides that.
I know. And it's
God.
cold, man.
I feel like
It's so
watching
cold.
Working Girl now. I haven't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm.
That was like Alec Baldwin's primo. Oh my God, he's such a
Yeah,
stud
when he.
guy.
That's when Alec Baldwin was such a Baldwin.
Right. He was really the only Baldwin that was a Baldwin.
Right. What about old Billy? No.
Now he's
I saw Sliver on. Is that the name of it?
Yeah,
The other
Sliver,
night.
yeah.
It's the dumbest movie. I mean,
It's pretty-
This would never happen.
No, it's totally ridiculous.
It's
Where he,
way
like,
dumber than Basic Instinct.
He controls the building, right, with all the video cameras.
Nobody
and shit.
knows that he owns the building, and he has a video camera in everybody's thing and watches them as if it was YouTube.
Right.
And you know, he's a crazy person or whatever, and she's weirdly over sexualized.
Yeah. And Tom Berenger's in it too, I think.
Yeah, Tom Berenger's in it. He plays the same guys he did in Major League.
And did you guys see the Trump tweet today of his what his campaign sent out?
No.
So he goes like, he's got a lot going on. So they decided to make a promotional video for him, comparing him to Thanos, which is from Avengers Endgame, the villain from it, which is already interesting. And it's him reenacting the scene from Endgame with like snapping his fingers.
On this solemn day, I recall that the first order of business for members of...
And that's Nancy Pelosi whooshing away from, I guess, the Outlanders magic.
Oh, God.
Yeah. First of all, I don't know why he became a meme guy. He didn't used to
Yeah.
be. But second, Thanos died in this thing and is killed.
He's a villain.
He gets his head cut off.
I mean, I've never seen him, but he like kills a lot of people.
He kills half the universe when he snaps his finger.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he ultimately loses.
Yes, through time travel.
Yes.
So that's what, and then so of course everyone is sort of like, why does he want to be a villain, and B, does he know how this ends and what he just compared himself to?
Right.
It's not smart.
It's no.
It's not the best.
Not the best. And also it's the thing, if you don't have a graphic designer on your team, don't try and make this happen because it's very poorly done too.
I like the turn of the head and then the front facing picture. So hilarious.
I was really enjoying Trump last night in Hershey, Pennsylvania. It's like no matter what happens, it doesn't change. The show goes on.
Yep.
You know?
Exactly.
And,
Stay on message.
but the message just gets wider. Like the FBI sucks and the FBI's fucking crooked, and all this stuff. All this stuff, like even when he was against football, people were like, "We're against football too." Like, I think somehow people in the blue states have got to realize that there's a whole different vibe going on that we can't understand.
Yeah.
And why did we get to that point? Because everyone keeps thinking something is going to turn up where those people are going to realize, oh shit, Trump is. No, they like the dude.
Yeah, they like.
I think he's the first guy that ever paid attention to them in their lives. You know what I mean? And said all that stuff they like to hear, like you're a good American and you're a good person and all that kind of stuff.
Right. And yet there couldn't be anyone farther from them, which is really strange.
Yeah,
they're following sort of a leader that
you're going into trying to use the logic. You got to see it from their eyes. And I think the thing is, finally someone sees us. You know what I mean?
And he talks to them in a way like he's just shouting along with them type of thing.
He's bringing the wrestling thing, which they love. He's bringing that whole fucking scene that they love. But again, we all try to convince them as otherwise. Right. Before you do, I think you just got to realize why did
And I feel like it gets hard too with so many conversations because someone would be like, actually, with these statistics, and it's like you can't ever really win a conversation with stuff like that too, which gets hard.
Right.
And then, so we have a noted, was a Trump fan for a while, but now has changed her tune. Caitlyn Jenner got kicked off of her reality show, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out if you're in the UK. And Kendall and Kylie are very pissed because she was up there spilling secrets.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's what she does.
She always does that.
She always, it's weird. It's almost as if she doesn't love her family.
Yeah.
Caitlyn Jenner hates her kids.
Hates them.
Yeah. Hates the boys first.
Oh,
She was done with the boys when she got married that last time. She had nothing to do with her previous kids. Those boys have been back trying to win over that thing all the time.
Because that's like when all the Kardashians left Caitlyn, Brody, and them were like, okay, well, do you like we support whatever you want to do, but can you at least acknowledge our existence? So Caitlyn was up there saying, like, talking about Khloe a lot, saying that they haven't talked in 5 years. Khloe doesn't support her, and apparently off camera, she was giving them the cast some secrets about how Kendall and Kylie's pregnancy plans, things like that, and like how they're dating, kind of just a behind the peak door of the Kardashian family too. So they're really pissed off. But then also, Kris Jenner could potentially sue Caitlyn if she wants to get into it because there's apparently a Kardashian contract that they all signed for breach of spilling secrets and stuff like that.
Wow.
I know, which is, I guess it's an important thing that for the family, for like a family like that to have, but then it's so weird too that you're like, oh, this is the family that we need to sign this. We don't trust each other that much.
like it's like Succession or something. It's like
Right.
a reality
Yeah.
show Succession, where like they don't operate like a regular family. They're not a regular family.
They're a
can't be.
corporation.
Yeah.
Well,
Like so they are like, do you feel like Courtney's really off brand right now?
And that's what they do.
And that's
yeah.
what's going on, right? Like they said Courtney wasn't filming enough.
Yeah,
Is that
they,
what?
they said that she wasn't doing her job, and the job was like revealing personal lives about herself. And then then Courtney was like, "Well, I don't want to talk about my like dating issues on TV." And then Kim was like, "That's what we are paid to do. You have
That's
to
what
do
you
it."
do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A bad
then-
breakup is better than.
And then
you
I
being
heard the rumor that she was like pretty much like implied like you're going to get fired
Mhm.
from my show.
'Cause
Kim
that's-
was like, your ass will be done.
Because they're like filming with you is they were like filming with you is impossible because all you do is sit there, and then the other sisters are mad that they have to overshare at that point, like
of
additional
course,
stuff.
they're like trying to keep the ratings up.
Yes, and let's face it, Kim is the fucking famous one, and she shared with these two sisters
Right.
that weren't famous.
Right. So meanwhile, she's sharing nothing, and then they're like, "I'm going for an asshole bleaching. Who wants to come? Let's get these ratings."
Like Chloe's about to get like her nipples pierced with Jordan Woods just
Right.
to get another season going on.
Right. Right.
It's so I know. I almost wonder. I'm like that show has to have an end date soon because it's been on for so long. They're just kind of like all over it too. It's,
Right.
Yeah.
It's going on much longer than anyone could have ever done.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like even them too. They're like, oh God, how is this now?
Yeah.
Oh. And then that was it. That was Dish.
That is the
Well, it was a great
dish
dish.
of the day.
Yeah.
This program is brought to you in part by Dish. Tuned in to you. To learn more, call 1-844-CALL-DISH or go to dish.com. And, of course, the host of Dish, Kashmir. Check him out on Not Another True Crime podcast on Betches Media. Did You Hear with Kashmir every week on the iBang. And Pass the Ox is tomorrow night, December 12th at 10 p.m. at Union Hall in Brooklyn. UnionHallNY.com for tickets. Thank you so much, Kashmir.
thank you
Always so
always.
fun.
See you, buddy.
Faction Talk 103, it's the Bennington Show.
Dish Network has just developed the new Dish voice remote, and now that it's got Google Assistant built in, your favorite game day recliner becomes a total home command center. Just say the word, and the remote does the rest. It's awesome.
Want to know a backup quarterback stash? Ask the remote. Want to watch a long time since you've been back?
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Yeah.
I was afraid of elevators for a year.
Were you really?
I swear to God.
Get
I swear, I don't know what happened. One year, I was just horrified of elevators. I couldn't like kind of be in them, and I don't know if that had anything to do with this, but I definitely was like, I was in therapy, and they were like, "What's?" And then I kind of got over planes, and then got over elevators, and got over all this stuff.
So, yeah, I mean, this is the thing that people don't realize is that when you get something like that, you can think it's about elevators, but it's about something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's some kind of I'm not in control because in an elevator, you're not in control.
Yes, yes.
But you can react to whatever happens in that elevator.
Right.
But in your mind, you're acting like, well, if that elevator stops in between floors, I'm going to act like a lunatic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody's going to see me screaming and clawing at the thing.
And everyone else is going to be cool.
And
like,
I think that's the
hey.
fear of flying, too. Like, what if I have a crazy episode on a plane? You don't really think the plane is going down.
I know. I've had that exact thing where I started to panic, and a big part of it on a plane, and a big part of it was like, I'm about to make a scene,
Right.
and really embarrass myself, and I'm gonna look vulnerable and stupid.
Yes.
Because I'm gonna cry on this plane because I'm convinced.
The
we're all
problem with
gonna
you
die.
two, you know what it is? You're creative people. You can imagine things. Chris Stanley,
Yeah.
slug-like brain. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's
He
what you
gets
do
on a plane,
everything.
immediately falls asleep. He doesn't have
No.
the ability to make those pictures in his head.
Yeah. I mean, he and I have had this conversation before where, like, we had to pick who we were sitting next to on a flight. And I was like, give me Vito. And he's like, that's really hurtful. And I was like, you fall asleep.
Yeah.
I'm a bad flyer. I need a friend to keep my spirits up.
You
and
don't
so,
have, look, anybody would pick Vito over.
I mean,
You
I'm
understand
not,
it.
Yeah, I'm not.
But you fall asleep. That's
Yes.
not comforting to me.
Sleepy.
Now, did you get anything in therapy, Greg? Did you figure anything out?
Oh my
was
God!
it?
Yeah.
All all of it.
Yeah.
I think so much. I don't know. Like there's that basic thing they said that like I was I'm always so mean to myself, and she was like, if you worked for a boss who treated you this way, would you continue to work there? And I was like, no. And she's like, well, then why would you work for yourself? And it's like one of those things of like, yeah, I guess you're right. I should stop yelling at myself.
You are
after
beloved,
everything.
too. Do you understand that? Like, everyone I know, even the people who don't even think that you're funny, they like you as a person. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have the respect of the industry, but you have the like.
But that's know your role.
Yeah.
No one's watching your sets. So just when you walk off, you're like, damn, I killed. Anyone need a sandwich? Anyone need a drink?
Yeah.
You can work every club in the world.
Can I help you with something?
Would love to.
Not the cellar. Try to have a good set at the cellar.
Doesn't
Because
count
people there go, he's nice, but
No.
does he get it? Does he care? He goes up and he acts silly.
You pull the plug on the monitor.
Yeah.
You distract the managers before you go down. Give them something else. You have to do all the tricks to keep them away from seeing the content, which I have a 0.
Here's what some people don't realize. Those fucking waitresses talk.
Yeah.
Those bartenders talk.
So you don't want to be on their bad side.
No. It isn't a matter of bad side. The managers will go, hey, how did that fucker do?
Oh, interesting.
And you're like, no, he's nice, but he's up there grabbing ass and, you know what I mean? Showed off his belly. And, you know, at the end of it, what was it?
Yeah.
You know?
So tip big is the thing.
Right. That's a good
Pay them off.
Or just have some material, buddy. Like when I'm on stage, what am I talking about? Heaven, hell, God, the devil. You know what I mean? I'm pulling this thing together.
You ask the impossible.
Yes.
You really do.
What was your nutty thing? You were doing crowd work and it kind of went viral.
Oh.
And you asked somebody something, you found out a terrible thing.
Some stupid, like I was just up there, I do the same line. I just go, I got a fucked up family. Who's got a fucked up family? And this guy goes, I do. And I go, what's up? And she goes, I probably shouldn't have said anything. And I go, look, whatever you say, I'll make it funny. I pointed. I fucking called it out. And she goes, my mom broke up my dad, and then my dad murdered my mom. And I went, well, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I just kind of wanted to say, well, I should retire now.
Right.
That was it was, and she definitely was telling the truth. You can kind of
Yes.
tell. I don't think thank you so much. I don't think you could whatever, but the miracle of the whole situation is that 2 seconds before that, I always mess with Red. He's like the piano player. And I just touched his piano keys. I went ding, ding, ding. I played like this ominous thing. And I was like, ooh, that's like a horror movie, And then when she said her dad murdered her mom, I just walked back over to the piano and went, oh, like this? Ding, ding, ding. And played the piano again. That was not skill. That was not anything. That was whoever in the comedy gods just just got me out of there. They're like, Greg, you need some money. We can't have you lose this job.
Right.
My God, that's so. I mean, of all the things she's going to say, you probably never in a million years would have guessed.
No, and you
that was
kind
gonna
of.
be the thing.
But there is tragedy everywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
and
wherever you go, there's tragedy.
husbands tend to murder wives. This is the thing they do.
It's a pretty high. It's more
Yeah.
people are willing to kill their wife than they will divorce.
Yeah. Like,
Speaking of
let's
which,
say
how you doing with your wife? I know.
Well, I haven't seen her in a few days, but
Yeah.
that has nothing to do with.
Where is she?
Underground.
I don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah.
She's just a few days. She's not been around. She'll probably call her.
It's
Chris,
uncomfortable.
can you check up on
Yeah,
that?
okay, I'll
look into it.
No.
Why would you send Chris into it?
I'm busy.
No, she's great.
You're still in Queens. You're enjoying Queens.
Oh, I love Queens. Love Queens. Love my wife. She's doing great.
That's true.
You just keep mentioning it. It makes me nervous.
No, I'm really having a really great time, and everything is working out sexually. We're wonderful. Can't believe how great that's going.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. So she's pregnant. Is it your sperm?
No.
Is that the problem?
Whoever sits by the
I wish
bedside.
you would have called me about this elevator thing. I would have went downstairs and did the show from there. I'm not making that up.
Yeah, we would have done that. That would have been fun.
Yeah, there was a semi-famous comedian. You remember this, Chris?
Yes,
That
I do.
They got here and he couldn't come upstairs.
Really?
He could not get in that elevator. Write his name down, Chris, because I don't want to say it on the air. So I said, I go, hey, tell him he doesn't have to, obviously it's just a radio show. Don't freak out over this. But then later I was like, why didn't I just go down and do the show from there?
But see, that's what happens to that's what's good about not being rich. If I was rich and famous, things like that would have happened.
Yeah.
So
he's expected to take care.
But you coming down to me, that's not good for me as a person. I need to get on the damn elevator. And look, now I'm on the elevator. Look where we are. We're 100 floors up.
But what if something happens now, you know what I mean, today when you're leaving here? I tell you, there's not even enough oxygen in this.
That's part of the problem. It's not so much the fall.
Leaving here when you do, leaving at 5 is the fucking problem because you stop at every floor. all these fucking temps get on.
Yep.
I like to get off, check out what's going on the other floors, see who questions me.
You just take an hour.
Yeah, that's where they want to
Every
see you,
floor.
Merrill Lynch. Yeah, just walking around. What's going on here?
How long do you think it would take you to walk down the stairs from here? Walk down. That's not as difficult as walking up. But if you're just like, all right.
First of all, they won't let you. You know what I mean? Like the building has to be on fire before you can leave from here. You'll set off alarms.
Really?
Yeah. And I think this many floors, you're looking at 10, 12 minutes. I know when 9/11 happened, those people were 40 and 50 minutes to get out of the building. Right. They were in the they were in the fucking stairwells walking.
Right, but they still had so long to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, they were packed in there.
Right,
And you weren't running down.
We gotta do fire poles.
I also think that you shouldn't bring up 9/11 when you're in a building this high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That should be something that we don't say.
That could. There
you're like
needs
the
to
Scottish
be.
play.
That's what I was gonna say. It needs something like that.
Yeah.
No, I think you should be on your toes, because now we're thinking about it. If something happens, 9/11 was the first thing in my mind. We react,
That's why I always laugh at people who take pills before they get on an airplane. They're like, I'm worried about an emergency, so I'm going to take pills. And you're like, yeah, but you're not going to be able to get off the plane now.
Yeah.
You're going to be the idiot they run
You're
across.
going to be the one person who doesn't get the seat cushion in time.
Yeah.
And you're screwed.
Yeah, when people are floating around, I'm just digging through the snack tray. That's
And
not.
this is
not a
weird.
move.
I'm sure people have brought this up. Why don't we get parachutes?
Because it wouldn't work.
It's illegal to bring a parachute on a plane too. I looked into it. I wanted to buy one.
Yeah, that's why. Because a lot of, I hate to say nerds. I don't know what else to say. would be sitting with parachutes on. It's not going to work. You can't jump out like that.
I want to say you can't jump out like that. I think with a little training and my.
There's no training. You ever notice no one is jumping out from a major fucking thing. They don't even do it for fun.
Right. But it just seems like it's better than nothing. It's
Then-
better than the
then-
seat cushion.
by the
Like,
way-
I hope once we land, I'll float away.
I want to bring this up to everyone. Don't say right and then go into a thing to why you don't believe that it's right. When you say right, it should be
Right,
like
but-
right means yes.
Yes.
That thing is nothing drives me crazy when people say yes, but in the can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like you're just.
I'll say no from
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
on.
One of my favorite
I would
responses
love
is always, yeah, no. Yeah.
no.
No. Yeah. I love you, but
Right.
you're absolutely wrong, and I disrespect you.
Yeah. It's like every time Earl and I are just talking about reparations, he agrees with all the logic that I have.
But I
and
want them.
Then he wants the $100,000 a piece.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you're just not getting it, dude. No matter how much you want it to happen.
Please, can
Yeah.
I have it? Right, but please give it to me.
And I would even deserve that something should be done. I just don't know what would ever make. Like, let's say if Earl gets the 100,000, it doesn't mean people in 50 years from now, like, those motherfuckers got paid. But what about us? You know what I mean? You didn't do anything for the future generations. It's never going to please people.
Yeah.
If it did, I'd be all for it. You know?
That's why I've said it has to be something geared towards giving back to the community and something that could be built on. It can't be individual.
I don't know what
Like
that
a
would be, though. I really don't.
I think
because I think
education.
education doesn't work. I think we can all agree to that. It's the
Education
biggest,
and healthcare, I think, for
no,
generations.
healthcare, you're just going to have angrier people living longer, and that's not what we're looking to do. And college it doesn't work. It just makes you more annoyed with your life as you go along.
Mm-hmm.
You never see people going, thank God I went to college. They go, college taught me why I should be as uncomfortable as I am right now. I should be as dissatisfied. And that's, this is what happened to Greg Stone. He's a very brilliant, creative mind. So his mind went to places because obviously he's not putting it into his act.
No, I wouldn't.
We've already discussed that. So his mind feels like, I got to keep creating. I got to keep creating.
Were you an anxious kid too? Like, did you have like a lot of fears as a kid?
It's hard. My whole life, I've always been like, I'm so calm. I'm not anxious. And
Really?
then one of my, then Anthony, my best friend, was like, you're one of the most high-strung people I've ever met in my life. And I never realized it. I guess I just thought that everyone's shoulders are up to their ears constantly. I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I will say, I think to what you're saying, when I was young, I didn't want to go on rides. I hated rides.
Right.
My mom goes, no, get on this log flume. It's fun. It just goes around the water. Turns out it's got that drop,
Yeah,
right?
that's the whole point.
Yeah. No one told me about that. And they don't really lock you into those things. It's a seatbelt, but you can
be
kind of
thrown
unseatbelt.
Yeah.
So I'm with my brother. If thing starts to go up, and I look at my brother and I go, "Yeah, I'm gonna get ahead. I'm gonna get ahead and get off this thing." And my brother's like, "No, you can't get off." So I unbuckled it and started to climb off of the ride. He starts holding me down. I start screaming. They have to end the ride early, send people over to then escort this screaming child off of the ride. And my whole life after that, everyone made fun of me for it.
Right.
So it's 100% fear of reacting like I did on the log flume in 1994, Wildwood, New Jersey.
Yeah.
And
By the
you
way,
don't-
Wildwood has rides that fall down, so you're not you're not that far off. I remember when fucking water things fucked up there, and people were being just shot from 18 feet into the
God.
boardwalk.
But I do like that you're like, no, I wasn't really an anxious child, except for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty intense.
Yeah,
I mean,
bad
I
temper,
used to leave school when I was in kindergarten. I would just fucking not want to be there and leave.
Mm.
And again, my family jokes about it, and I'm like, well, you're joking about a young child who thought reality had come apart. That's what you're joking about right now. I wasn't spoiled. You know what I mean? I thought I was abandoned, is what I thought.
Right.
That's why I can't believe your kid at 1 stays at school all
She-
day.
she loves
Prefers it to her terrible
she
home life.
really, really likes it.
I can't believe your kid's won already.
Yeah.
That
she's
is insane.
16 months.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know. It goes really quick.
I think I know. There's one comic I think that's worse tense than you, and that's Joe List.
Oh,
Joe
yeah.
List doesn't leave any situation without thinking he said the wrong thing.
Yeah, every time he comes in here, he has to go, hey, are you mad at me from this other thing from before? And also, remember last time, was that okay that I said that? And it would be like 6 months ago. And you're like, yeah, dude, what?
Yes, of course it's okay
we
that you
love
did
you.
a joke about the show. That's fine with us.
Yeah.
I'm List's, I think, go-to guy with, like, I've been on the road with him a billion times, and, like, just sitting there, like, he's like, hey, I feel a tingling in my tooth. And I'm like, I think it's brain tumor. And I'm like, nah, man, like, it's okay. Don't worry till you have something to worry about. Like, I love Joe, but his anxiety, and he's gotten so much better. But, like, it was like he is constantly running every scenario in his head that is the zebra. They say, like, the zebra instead of the horse. You know, like, if you see tracks, they say, it's a horse, but psychos go, no, it's a zebra. It's like, there's no zebras in New York.
Right.
But your mind goes to zebra, and it's like,
Right.
that's crazy. It's just a horse. It's just tingling in the teeth.
I've never heard that before, but yeah, I could be a zebra. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean,
Yeah.
you just can't rule out
Just
zebras.
maybe.
Yeah.
But
I like to say 9/11. Is the building shaking because of the heater?
Yeah.
No, it's 9/11 again.
9/11's re-happening. Now, Voss has gone to the hospital many times on the road. He'll go to the ER. He assumes he's having a heart attack. And part of it is he thinks to himself, wouldn't it be awful to have a heart attack farther away from home? And the answer is yes. That would be terrible.
That'd be really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know somebody who she would get that on like trips, car trips, things like that. Like if we're like, hey, we should all go away for the weekend, her paranoia would build and build, and she's like, this is just a stupid trip that we're taking, but what if we all die in a car crash? Like, why did I go on this trip? And you're like, yeah, but you could do that when you go to the grocery store later or anything. Like, you can't live your life.
Don't add to the places
Right.
that you should be afraid.
Yeah.
That's
You
a
know-
funny thing about like a panic attack. If you have one in a mall, the mall will then trigger it. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, there's something. I got a
Right.
problem with malls, and you don't. You
Yeah.
just had something happen there.
By the way, you said that thing about adding to it.
Yeah.
I had a friend tell me that I said something to him that he had to deal with for weeks with his therapist. So he was telling me that he was developing a fear of death that was like looming over him all the time.
Right.
And instead of being like, that's unreasonable or something, I was like, yeah, man, everybody has that. But we go, you know, like we literally have to go through our life and pretend like we're not thinking about it. Otherwise, people would be running out in the streets and ripping off their clothes and being like, we're going to die.
Yeah.
So we're all just pretending, you know, we're all
we all
just
think we're immortal.
yeah,
Right.
so
And the
like
truth is,
we've
it's-
got to just kind of move on and do other things. We're all afraid of death. But instead of that being a comfort, he was like, fuck. Like when
Yeah.
I said that, like in the moment, he was like, But later he was like, you know, I had to deal with that many weeks of this image of like that we're all lying. And really, what if we suddenly all started telling the truth and we were just grabbing each other by the shirts and screaming and panic?
But the other way to look at that, I think a fear of death is from not gratitude for life at all. And you could easily, if we paid attention to how amazing life is, we'd be grabbing each other all the time going, can you fucking believe this?
Yeah.
We have gravity and air and there's food and we can fuck. You know what I mean? And there's music. Have you listened to the music?
Right.
I always say, you know how beautiful it is that we live in this time? Before I was born, there was an infinite amount of time. Infinity before I was born.
Right.
After I die, infinity. There is 80 maybe years I'm going to be here.
No way.
In all of... But how
Right.
insane is it that this moment in time is the only time I will ever
Yeah.
be experiencing any
And
of
you have
this?
running water and air conditioning.
And I have running water. Yes, there's no
No, here's the
knights
thing.
coming at me with axes. You know what I mean? Like, that's a thing.
You don't know that if this thing doesn't echo over and over and over, that you haven't already experienced this life a million times, and you're already going to experience it a million times after this. And the weird thing is, none of us know shit. We don't even know where we are in the fucking universe.
Mhm.
We don't know how
We don't have
time
a
works.
proper map. of
Time
the
is my favorite
Yeah.
thing. The thing that I always think about is, how do we even know? So the only way you know that you experience the past is through memories, right? And as we
Yes.
know, memories can be faked, dreams, matrix, bullshit, what all that is, right? The future you never experience. The only thing you ever experience is 1/1,000,000th of a second, which is you acknowledging the past. So how do you know that the future even exists or the past ever exists? It's just a picture that's 1/1,000,000th of a second where it's experiencing right this moment. It's just two molecules explode, and it's this experience that was just your memories for a moment. There was never anything. All right, too much?
No,
I don't
no,
know.
no, no. I'm actually thinking that's the kind of stuff that should make you not afraid.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's
Yes.
the stuff that makes you think this moment is all there is. There isn't anything before this or after this. And I didn't say something that made me feel like I set off a friend or
Right.
laughed at Joe List when he described the problem and then that hurt him.
Yeah.
Nothing fucking matters. And what if it did? That's the fucking point of it all. But I think the gratitude is like the least experienced thing that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Most people feel like there should be more. When you just fucking put out, who can even believe it? You
Mhm.
know?
I know.
It's weird to think of all the things like, you know, like as a comedian, like working in the Comedy Cellar was my dream, and then that's happening. Like, you know, I said this a million times, but I used to listen to Ron and Fez was my favorite show. I would sit in the car. Being here is insane to me. The fact that I have a sweater on and I'm not like this is a, I like this is a, I like you know what I mean? Like it's insane. But I think that's with everyone's life. The fact that you get to experience any kind of joy, like enjoy it. Don't just fucking wait for the next one.
Here's what happens to people because, like, their whole life they want to get in a Comedy Cellar, and then they're down there and they're like, "Wait, there's just saying that I'm not doing 15, I'm doing 10 because somebody else won't run." You know what I mean? And they'll find all these reasons not to enjoy this thing, which was their goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They're like, "You fucking believe this? I'm doing 1 instead of 4 sets." They're looking around to see. Just like, why can't you have your own thing?
You know, it kind of makes me think of this thing I was thinking the other day, like about travel and everyone's kind of obsession with travel now and vacations and Instagramming your vacation and all this stuff. That, okay, if you have a love or a desire to see the world and see places, totally good. That makes sense. But this other thing of like you work for your vacations and you only get so many vacations a year, you only get so many vacations in a lifetime, and how depressing that is. Like that you're like, I'm happiest when I'm on vacation, and those are only a couple days. And like you're just like, and then you get back on the plane and you're like, this is sad. I can't wait for my next vacation. There's something really depressing about
Yeah, of course.
like that you only dip in and out of paradise. Like it, like that whole thing kind of
But
gives me the
why don't
creeps.
people even look at like tonight you're off? Why isn't that your vacation? Why
Right.
can't you have a vacation night tonight?
Right.
Why do you need to get on a plane and go to fucking Morocco to feel like
Right.
you know?
And like I get if you have like a desire to experience other cultures or meet people, or you love food from other cultures, desire to experience other cultures or meet people, or you love food from other cultures, that makes sense. But just to love to be on vacation is kind of a weird concept.
Yeah.
It's a little sad.
But even like on the car ride home, you know, like people just waiting to get home. It's like Enjoy let the vacation
Right.
be the car ride home.
Yeah.
Sit there. Your mind is the thing that brings you joy. So just think about whatever makes you happy in your head in the car ride home. Listen to music you love.
Threesomes.
Explore threesomes.
Yeah, think about
okay?
a threesome. Everybody, on your way home tonight, think about a threesome. See if
Yeah.
you have a better commute. I think you will.
You know what? Chris is going to think about a threesome with 2 other dudes.
Greg Stone's in studio. His album, The Amazing Greg Stone, is available now wherever you stream comedy. And his podcast, The Rad Dudecast, is available now wherever you download your podcast. And follow him on Instagram at Greg F. Stone.
By the way, is that a superhero thing when you say The Amazing Grey's out from one of those? Yeah, The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Are you guys done with the fucking superhero movies? Can we move on? I mean, haven't you had there's been what, 70, 80, 90, 100?
Yeah.
Are we done?
Greatest time to live.
Yeah.
No, we're not
I mean,
done.
at a certain point, we should be done, right?
No, and I can tell you why we should never be done. Because all it is, superheroes are the best thing in the world because it allows you to it's the easier way to live with life, right? It allows you to deal with my problem is that we always put these celebrities up on pinnacles, right? You should put someone who wasn't real on a pinnacle because you can never be that. Spider-Man will always make the right decisions because it's written. It's bullshit. So why not compare yourself to something that is impossible so you could always be striving for something that's greater and better and make better choices and be okay with that as opposed to trying to be like Obama and then you find out about drone strikes. I don't really know anything about politics, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I've seen
You know what I mean?
The drone strike king.
But it's I don't know. And it also allows you to live in these situations that aren't, that
But he just got bit by a spider.
See, that's not what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man.
Okay.
What is it?
What makes Spider-Man Spider-Man is his ever quest to do what's right.
I just feel like
for
he's
everyone.
a child. I mean, it makes me annoyed that I'm paying attention to a child.
Yeah, he totally was. But that's why
Spider Boy,
Yeah,
really.
he's never really got to be a man, right?
Into the Spider. Yes, comic book age now.
Does he have family? Does he have kids? Is he married?
In some alternate universe stuff, there is a Spider-Man. He has a little girl who's a kid and a wife.
Spider-Girl?
In the comic books now, I would say Spider-Man's probably around 35 years old. In movies now, he's younger.
It's the same one over and over. It's constant reboot.
But that's
Does his daughter have Spidey powers? Or
Yeah. They go on Spidey adventures. It's very fun.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read.
Renew your vows. I bet you will love it. It's great.
Chris, you have a favorite superhero?
I always love Wolverine the best.
Why? Because of the facial hair and
Cool facial
scruffiness?
hair, smoked a cigar,
He's
had
a
an eye
dick.
patch at some point. So, what's the big deal about being a dick?
Would you want to hang out with Wolverine?
Yeah, definitely.
He's not going to be nice to you.
Why not
It's like
want to hang
hanging
out with
out with
Spider-Man?
Here's the thing. He
It's high
knows
school.
about all these things you don't. Why don't you take his advice?
No, I don't want to hang out with Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's going to pick up a check. Wolverine, he's going to try to
Wolverine
kill
seems to be
your.
doing well.
He's going to try to steal your girlfriend. I got to go.
I thought Nightwing was kind of cool.
Nightwing's my favorite.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I love Nightwing in DC. Yeah, he's the best.
I think he's pretty cool.
And he's great because he was a boy who he's a
Right,
character you got to
Robin.
watch grow up,
Right.
And be like, now he's like, I
He's
love
grown.
evolved characters.
He's troubled.
Yeah,
Dead family. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
My favorite has always been Rockford Files. Na, 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 na. Earl, do you have a favorite black superhero?
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage. He was.
And where would he even rank in the top? Was he even in the top 100 of all time superheroes?
I mean, to be humorous, I would say no. But in my heart, he's number 3. Luke Cage is
number 3.
Yeah, Luke Cage is one of the best.
All right, give me the rankings.
Yeah.
Give me the Greg Stone rankings.
I would go. It's definitely Spider-Man, Captain America, Luke Cage, and then this guy Cable. He's just like a time traveling old man, which I love. I love an old man.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, he's Cyclops' son from the future. Cyclops from the X-Men.
Okay,
His
yeah.
son from the future came back.
The one with glasses.
Yeah, he wears glasses. Yes.
Okay, good.
But
Blood
Luke Cage is
Iron
great. He
is-
just wears jeans.
Here's a guy that you should make your superhero right here, Teddy Roosevelt.
Roosevelt.
Yeah.
And also, he kind of dressed steampunk. Not
Oh, he
enough
did.
people get into that.
I can say I'm a big Churchill guy. I'm getting DC.
Really?
Oh,
It's
Churchill.
too-
This guy's he was a real motherfucker.
Blackout drunk. He was too fat. No,
Rough.
also had
Rough.
he also had like
Gout?
gout and
Yeah.
shit like that. Yeah, I can't stand any of that kind of. My fat legs won't help me. Tonight is the big party.
Today's the Sirius XM party. Yes.
Now, do you feel bad that you told me about this on the day of, and this is a planned party for everybody?
Yes, I do feel bad. I
Now,
found
why
out
didn't you
about
know
late.
about this in advance?
There was a corporate email that came in that I didn't see. then I was going back
Now,
through it.
How about the other guys? This came up today that you two guys are not pulling your weight. You need to run some of this stuff. One of you could be doing the corporate emails.
Yeah, that was my fault, especially since the party is at the Hard Rock. I should have been a lot more on it.
You work at the fucking Hard Rock. Dude.
Yes, I do. that should have just kept reminding you. And
no, it's not a matter of keep reminding me. This is the first day that I heard about it. It's not like, oh, you told me once and I forgot. This is the first day that I hear it's tonight. So, Gail, will you be going?
It was a last minute thing. I don't think I.
You don't have a babysitter.
Yeah, I don't have a sitter.
I'll do it.
Oh, that's so sweet of
Can I
you.
tell you something? You get shot if you try to get it. I mean, I love you, but they're very adamant about these parties. Even though you're a big celebrity and we'd love to have you, you don't have this piece of magic right here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, I'm talking about babysitting. I want to babysit.
Oh, no. There's no fucking way you're
You also could get shot.
I have zero experience with children. I would be great. I have so many figures.
I would not rest for a second. And why do you still have figures like that, action figures?
It's weird. I'm kind of coming. I think I'm done with it.
Good for you.
Really?
But it
Will
was
you
a.
sell them, or are you just gonna pack them away?
I think I'm selling them. It was just a thing that was like when comedy was really hard. It was giving me something else to do to get my mind off of it, and it was like, oh, quick win. It's like, oh, you find something in a store, makes you feel good. And it wasn't drugs, and it wasn't whatever. It was good.
Drugs.
But
now here's the thing.
Kind of got me on action figures, I think.
Gail had what did you have? Go-Go from Kill Bill.
Yes, I had someone had gifted me a Go-Go Ubardi action figure.
And we got Tarantino to sign it.
That's
and then we're giving that out when, like next week or so.
Yeah,
So we'll
Christmas.
work
Do a
out a
fun
thing.
thing.
Yeah. Because that's a weird, I'm wondering, like, how many of those would have he signed in his life? I don't think so.
Probably
You
not
know, I
many.
mean, I'm sure he signed all kinds of DVDs and shit.
Yeah.
But that thing. And who got him to do it? Vito?
Yes, Vito did it.
Where is Vito?
He's right behind me.
Well, shouldn't I be talking to him if he's the guy? How did he react when you got him to sign the action figure?
He picked it up and he looked at it.
Any human being would. It's how we know.
Well, like he didn't just bend over. He didn't just bend over and sign it like most people do.
Have
He-
you even seen one before?
He-
Because I'm
I-
sure you don't get to see even everything that comes out of your movie.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
I've seen like stuff with the Beatles. They're like, well, what were these? You know what I mean? And they were like, and they're going like this. So kids would put their lunch in this, right? A lunch what? A box? 'Cause they didn't have them in England. So they didn't know that these things were so important to little kids. So he looked at it.
Yeah, he didn't just like sign it. He actually like picked it up and looked around at it and then said, "This is cool," and then signed it and put it down.
It seems like you should have said all that instead of having me pull teeth. You should be the one seeing a fucking psychiatrist, not Greg Stone.
Is no one talking about Vito's hot body? Is that just not a topic?
Oh yeah, we
sick.
always talk about it.
He didn't do that on purpose.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
No.
It's an illness.
Looks great on him.
You okay?
Not really.
I wonder why more people don't realize that when they say, you look great. You're like, really? Does it look great to have a kidney shut down on you and stop working? Is that the great thing? No, you've been going, see, for us it happened gradual. There's no reason for us to talk about it. You, the man who's afraid to get into a box and be hoisted up
Must have
37
been pretty
floors.
shocking for you to see the before and after.
Yeah. Plus, I just get so horny.
Yeah, I got it.
I can't control myself. I can't even look at him right now. I'm just staring in the
Don't
wall.
even.
It's too hard.
I'm going to tell this story to Bobby Kelly this way. I'm going to say that you said after being with Bobby Kelly, everybody looks thin.
Hey, you should put Vito in your threesome that you're going to be thinking about later on the way home.
Yeah.
Who's the third?
Bobby Kelly.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Or
He'd be a good
Spider-Man,
lover,
whatever.
I think, Bobby.
You think so?
I think he'd be very
A
like
lot of attention, maybe.
no attention. He'd be all about himself, but he'd be enough to grab onto you. You like he'd be very warm, and I think that'd be fun.
Warm is good.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. This is some pictures from Thanksgiving Maureen sent in. And this is Greg Stone a couple years ago. And you were a lot heavier. You were a lot heavier than you are now.
Oh yeah, this is all because of my wife.
Yeah.
She
she can't cook?
No, she decided she's a nutritionist.
Right.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you were huge then.
It looks like a slug.
Yeah.
Great. We should have said that immediately when you walked in.
Yeah, Weight Watchers. I got on Weight Watchers, and I swear to God, just doing better in comedy allows you to eat better food like when you're there, it's like I was eating McDonald's every day.
Right.
What was the
It's like-
breakthrough for you in comedy that you're feeling like you found yourself?
Well, it was I think the writing job gave me enough money to be like, okay, you can breathe now.
Right.
You're not hitting that 3-pointer at the buzzer every time. And then once that happened, it was like, oh, it was fine.
So Michelle Wolf changed your life.
She really did. It's crazy. And then like going on the road with her was like huge. And I honestly think more of it was just like it's all the little wins of the little justifications, like to being grateful, like coming here when that was like huge for me to be like, oh wow, someone likes me that
Right.
isn't in my family or has to. It's my best friend. And then Michelle was with the writing thing because it was like, oh no, like they like you can create something that isn't just people liking you because you're nice. And then that was just kind of like, it's weird. You figure out you're following other people's paths, and then you find your
own
voice.
path.
Yeah,
You're like, I'm not on that fucking path.
yeah. Well, like
I got my own.
that video that kind of took just now was
Yeah.
huge because it wasn't me doing material, and it was people liking it just for me being me,
Right.
and that was like, oh, then you should be being all because when I watch the video, it's me also saying to this woman, "Hey, are you okay? Are we good?" Like, this is a big deal. Your parents were murdered. Like, I didn't want to just be like, oh, she deserved it or something or
Right.
whatever.
That would have been funnier though.
I was not going to put it up because I literally was like, I'm going to get torn apart by Legion of Skanks fans calling me a pussy. But then getting that relief was like, oh no, this is who I am. Like, you need to just be yourself, whoever that is. It's easier. I don't know. I don't know if that answered your question or if I was
No.
just,
I love that you're at this point. I brought up Bobby. He told me that how funny this thing was that you did with him, where that you would say this is the way a Western ends, and you would have one line and then a gunshot. And he was trying to explain it to me, and I'm like, I really don't even know what you're talking about. And he goes, no, it's very funny. But basically, no matter what you said, boom, the gunshot, and then the movie's over.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's just kind of like just improv, like don't think, just say something, and then that's the end of the movie, and then you create it whatever your head. I didn't think anyone really got it when we did it on the podcast either.
Is that right?
I think so.
If I was Chris, I'd be grabbing a gunshot thing so we could figure out, you know what I mean, how to make that happen. Or one of the other guys that Chris doesn't depend on. You just give me a gunshot. Now, this is a cowboy gun, not. Yours would be great if Goodfellas was ending.
The end of a Mexican standoff would be
Yeah.
perfect.
No, it's a podcast.
Why would you do a podcast? Just find gunshot.
I did, yeah, but I'm trying to get an old
sound
timey
effects.
gunshot.
SF. You put in SFX, and that's a sound effects.
Ooh, a 300 shell surface. It's a good weapon.
Maybe not.
I like this gunshot's 8 minutes and 54 seconds
Yeah.
long.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. That's all right, Chris. But the point is, it was a funny bit according to him, but you didn't even think that it worked.
I
And then he
don't think
brought-
anything works.
Yeah.
I'm just happy with. That's the thing about being grateful, right?
Right.
Well, a great big moment in my life was I went, maybe you're a hack. That's okay. You're not going to stop. Just keep being a hack. What are
Right.
you going to do? Like whatever it is, just own it. Who gives a shit?
How do you define hack? What is the definition of hack to you?
For me, hack,
Yeah.
I believe in two things in comedy: funny and original.
Right.
If it doesn't make me laugh, or if it's something I heard before, those are my only two caveats for not good comedy. So if you're a hack, if you're doing jokes, I've heard, I know where they're going. Everyone has done this before.
So
And
you're
if I
even
don't
saying
laugh-
the premise, not the actual joke.
if the punchline is different, I'm okay with it.
Right.
But if it's
Like a different take on.
yeah, it's a
something
different
that we-
take. It's just got to be original.
One time, Brian Regan was telling me, he goes, he loves to go into the stuff that he thinks everybody else's mind every joke out of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you think that you've mined all the jokes out of there, then he wants to go in and see if he can't
Well, like
find
a good
something else.
example, I think, is like you ever like a comedian who starts an airplane joke, and you're like, okay, well, we've heard a lot of and then they go somewhere that you've never heard, and you're like,
Right.
I can't believe there's more airplane
There
jokes
are.
out there.
Yeah.
There are.
Yeah.
It's those personal. It's that personal
Right.
takes. Yeah. I mean,
Well, I can't believe this is over.
Is
And
it?
I really, I'm glad that you came back because we were always wondering what happened to Greg Stone, because you would call us, I think, right?
no one's ever called me, but I would. I've never called. I would come here every single day if that was a thing.
But you were afraid of our
But I was
Elevator.
afraid of your elevator and afraid of Chris Stanley.
Do you know? Here's what I want you to do too, because we've been having a problem here.
Yeah.
When you look at, make sure the elevator is there when you open up, because we've had a situation where there's no elevator in there, and the doors will
Especially
open
if
up.
you're
and
looking at your phone.
They just drop off
You
into an
don't-
empty fucking thing.
Yeah, I always walk in backwards because I'm afraid of these things. I don't want to look
Right.
at them, so I just hit the button and I back into it.
That's a terrible idea.
It's just got to be the way.
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Greg Stone's album, The Amazing Greg Stone, is available now wherever you stream comedy, and his podcast, The Rad Dudecast, is available now wherever you download your podcast, and follow him on Instagram at Greg F. Stone.
What did you mean by Instagram?
That's the grandma's account. I'm Instagram.
All right. Who else? We got anybody else to plug or thank?
Dan Soder Unmasked, airing Friday at 4 p.m.
What's a good one? Did you see his special?
I have to watch it tonight. I'm going to watch it tonight.
Your name comes up.
I'm
He
sure
mentions you.
He probably has to. I mean, we have
Yeah.
such a.
You guys close?
I love Dan. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love Dan.
Does he love you back?
It's hard to know with Dan.
Okay.
You know, because he's always talking like Macho Man. So
Yeah.
maybe Macho Man loves me.
I remember the first time I saw him on stage, I'm like, why isn't he doing Macho Man? He always does that when he comes into the radio, and it's fucking great. I giggle
So
like a
good.
child.
If I did Macho Man that good, I'd just be Macho Man for
Yeah.
the rest of my life.
It's me, this comic, Macho Man. Peace.